lot of our playbook to suit a left-hander. I think our team has responded, and we're eager to see where we are.
Talk about converting the playbook. How much of a challenge is that? I mean, how many things do you have to kind of shift around without giving away the farm, so to speak?
Well, it's a challenge. It's no question a challenge not only for the coaches but the players. All the play-action passes, a lot of the ball handling is different, obviously, when a left-hander plays. Been through this with Steve Young in Montana those days and Mark Brunell, so it's a challenge, and one that we've worked hard on to try and accommodate everyone.
How's his comfort level been this week, getting acclimated to taking all the reps?
I think it has been good. You know, if you know Chris, he's a charismatic kid. I think he's well respected by his teammates, so that transition wasn't too hard on him. I think he's a little anxious. It's like most young guys, very eager to prove that he's ready for this task, and we just got to keep him poised. He is talented, and we think he can deliver for us.
Let's talk about the Saints a little bit. It's a team that traditionally, for whatever reason, has played very well against you guys.
Well, it's a good team. Obviously, they've made some real good additions to their defense. A recent trade, bringing McKenzie, a strong corner from Green Bay there. The first-round draft choice, Will Smith from Ohio State. Makes them explosive on both sides of the ball. We all know about Brooks and the bevy of receivers and McAllister that they have. They're talented. They got an explosive return man, and they're tough on the road.
Even if you don't face Deuce, there's a possibility of facing Aaron Stecker, a guy that you're very familiar with.
Well, we have the Buccaneer reunion every week, it seems. It's Sapp, it's Lynch, now it's Aaron Stecker, and God bless him, too. He's a fine guy and a good football player, and while Deuce McAllister's been away, he's earned his stripes there.
At this point in time, bottom line, you guys need to win.
We got to win. We start in the second quarter of the season, and we're going to build some blocks. We got to lay some blocks. Our mansion has been devastated. There's not a lot of rooms here in our building. We got to start building. We got to lay blocks, and we got to start doing that on Sunday in New Orleans.
All right, joining us now is Jason Garrett, who will do the game for Fox today. And what a great perspective you have, Jason. Yeah. Obviously, you were in camp with these quarterbacks this week, 11 years in the NFL. I saw you just talking to Brad and Chris. What are they talking about? And what incredibly different mindsets those two must have today?
Well, first of all, Brad Johnson's a pro. He's handled this whole situation very, very well. You got to remember, 3 new guys on the offensive line, a whole new receiving corps from a year ago. So Brad hasn't been playing in the perfect quarterback environment.
To say the least.
Yeah, a great opportunity for Chris nonetheless, though. And I think Chris's biggest challenge is to stay calm, stay relaxed, let the system work for him, let the guys around him work for him. I think he's going to play well today.
Now, what do you think he will face today? Obviously, the Saints are going to try to bring some heat. Charles Grant is a wonderful pass rusher. What does he have to do in terms of picking up hot reads or just trying to manage the offense today?
Well, I think he just has to run the plays, play the system. I think he's going to get in trouble if he tries to do too much. You know, John Gruden talked about Chris being a spark. When you try to be a spark, you tend not to be one.
Right.
Just run the offense, see the defense. He's well coached. John Shoup does a great job as a quarterback coach for him, and Coach Gruden does a wonderful job as well. So just do the stuff you've been doing since minicamp and training camp. He played well in the preseason. I think he's going to have a good day today.
All right, Jason, thanks so much for joining us, and have a great broadcast.
Okay, thanks so much.
Wonderful. The heir apparent to John Madden.
Yeah, right.
He's going to be the one. Everybody says it. All right, let's go back to the studio now, and Coach Doug Graber has more with the telestrator. Dan, what do you guys have?
John Gruden.
Well, JB, I think Chris Sims is ready to start. He had a great offseason, played very well in the preseason. A big athletic kid, a live arm, very athletic feet. He's played well. His biggest challenge is going to be to settle into this ball game, stay calm, let the offense work for him, let his teammates work for him. Regarding Brad Johnson, I think he's steaming inside. He's a competitor. Brad wants to play, but one thing I do know about Brad, he's also a pro. He prepared well this week. He helped Chris Sims a lot during his preparation.
Hey, Jason, Terry, you know, we've seen these Saints go into St. Louis and win in overtime, and then we see them get beat by Arizona. Let me just ask you this. What do you expect? Which Saints team can we expect to show up today?
You know, we talked to Tampa Bay Buccaneer defensive coordinator Monty Kiffin, and Monty said this is not the time you want to play the New Orleans Saints. They're like a wounded dog. He always wants to play them after they've had a big win. You know, the loss last week in Arizona was not a good one. There's a lot of frustration. Jim Haslett has a history of rallying this team. I think the Saints are going to play well today.
All right, many thanks to Ivy League, Jason Garrett. Hey, folks, let's head over to Houston, where
quarterback Chris Sims can provide a spark in his first NFL start as they look for their first victory of the season. It is the Saints and the Bucs in an NFC South battle here at the sold-out Superdome. And hello again, everybody. I'm Dan Miller, joined in the booth today by 11-year NFL veteran quarterback Jason Garrett, who did, in fact, give the Dallas Cowboys a spark back in 1994 when he led them to a team record 36 second-half points as the Cowboys beat Green Bay. All right, Jason, we should also mention you were in camp with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. You know Chris Sims, and like Chris Sims, you made your first start in your second season. What's he going through right now?
Well, Chris is very excited. This is a great opportunity for him. He's a wonderful athlete. He's got a live arm and great feet. Chris's biggest challenge today is going to be stay relaxed and to stay calm early in this ball game. He has to find a little rhythm. He's got to let the system and the players around him work for him. Look at that man right there, Michael Pittman. John Gruden's going to call on him early and often this afternoon.
All right, as for the Saints, as we mentioned, they're dealing with a blowout loss in Arizona last week. And after that game, a shouting match on the plane between defensive end Charles Grant and quarterback Aaron Brooks. How do they put it all behind them?
Well, a lot of controversy, a lot of frustration among the New Orleans Saints players and coaches this week. Monty Kiffin, the Bucs defensive coordinator, said, you don't want to play these guys after a big loss. They play like a wounded dog. Jim Haslett has a history of rallying the troops and getting them to play well after tough losses. Look for Deuce McAllister coming back off that high ankle sprain. He's going to carry it often today.
All right, folks, don't forget there is still time to select your singular fantasy football team for this week. Text message 63504 on your singular wireless phone or vote on foxsports.com. We are getting set for the kickoff and expecting a good one. 8 of the last 10 matchups between these two teams have been decided by a touchdown or less. We'll be back to get this one started right after this. Go between the Buccaneers and the Saints. Tampa Bay coming into this one expecting some young players to lead them, namely Chris Sims, their starting quarterback, and Michael Clayton, their outstanding young wide receiver. And this is a homecoming of sorts for the gentleman who's from Louisiana and also went to LSU.
Hey, relax. I'm good, baby. Hey, we're going to relax. Let the game come to you. You a hell of an athlete, I'm a hell of an athlete. Get your shine on, all day long, cause I'ma get mine on. Let's go, big boy, let's go, baby.
All right, Jason, we got a chance to talk to both Chris Sims and Michael Clayton together yesterday. You love to have a rapport between a quarterback and a receiver. These guys are just starting to play together, but you can see it forming already.
Oh, absolutely. They've worked hard together through the offseason and through training camp. And I love what Michael Clayton said to Chris Sims. Just relax, let the game come to you. Michael Clayton is the most explosive players the Bucs have on offense. Chris Sims is going to look for him early in this ball game. But Chris has got to settle into the rhythm of the game. Michael Clayton's a good guy to have on your side.
No question about it. Michael Clayton has shown himself to be one of the top rookies in the NFL at the wide receiver position. Jim Haslett right there, head coach of the New Orleans Saints, looking to get this thing turned around and once again finding himself on a roller coaster with his team.
Yeah, this team is 500 since they won the division in the year 2000. And Jim Clayton, Jim Haslett's trying to address that situation. They've been inconsistent, but again, they've tended to play well coming back off of a loss. And they had a rough loss last week in Arizona. I think the Saints are going to play well, and they feel like they can play well against Tampa Bay. They've won 3 out of the last 4, and they're going to play a tough physical ball game this afternoon.
All right, Saints have won the toss and chosen to receive. Martin Gramatica is set to kick it off, and we are underway at the Superdome. Michael Lewis back deep for the Saints. Goes to one of the up back. He returns it out across the 25. Aaron Stecker out to the 27. And that's where the Saints will take over. First down and 10. And leading the attack for New Orleans, Aaron Brooks, their multi-talented quarterback. He's got size, 6'4" and 220, but he is mobile as well, Jason.
He sure is. A wonderful athlete. And you talk to the Tampa Bay defenders, and they're scared of this guy. Once he gets into a little rhythm himself, he can be very dangerous. Had some fumbling problems so far this season, but if he gets it going, number 2 is a tough quarterback to stop.
They're not booing. They're saying deuce. That's the good news for this Saints offense is that Deuce McAllister is back in there starting after missing the last 2 games with an ankle injury, and he gets the call right off the bat. McAllister through the middle of the line and breaking breaking free across the 35 to the 36. Deuce McAllister picking up 9 before Ian Gold can take him down. Checking the rest of that Saints lineup. We'll start with the guys up front. Gandy, Jaycox, Bentley, Holland, and Riley. As for the skill positions, we already mentioned to you that Deuce McAllister will be getting the start today. Keep an eye on Joe Horn, always dangerous, and also Dante Stallworth, wide receiver in his 3rd year out of Tennessee, who seems to be coming into his own. 2nd down 2 now. Gives to McAllister's got the first down as he bursts out close to the 40-yard line. Taken down at the 39 by Rondé Barber. But 2 carries and a first down. That's what the Saints wanted to see from Deuce McAllister coming off of that sprained ankle. Let's talk about this Tampa Bay defense. And it's a defense that has gotten a lot of attention. As you look up front, Anthony McFarland moving in. Also Chartrick Darby as well. Both of them trying to fill the vacancy left by Warren Sapp. Ian Gold, free agent acquisition during the offseason from Denver. Derek Brooks, longtime linebacker who's been outstanding for the Bucs. There's the secondary as well. 1st down and 10, opening possession of the game. Saints have it at their own 39. Brooks gives it again to McAllister. Not much there. Falls forward for 1. That'll bring up 2nd down and 9.
Pretty simple approach so far by the Saints, playing 2 backs and 2 tight ends. Deuce McAllister is going to hammer this Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense. They're fast, they're active, they're athletic, but they're not big on defense. The Saints feel like they have the formula. Take number 26 and hammer him into the line of scrimmage. Let him run north and south and see if this Buck defense can hold up.
Saints go 3 receivers here.
You got it.
On 2nd down and 9. Deuce McAllister, the lone back behind Brooks. Brooks on the play action fake, back and looking to pass, looking left side, throws it down there, wants Joe Horn. Horn hits him in the hands and falls incomplete. Horn had a chance to pick that one up but couldn't come up with it.
Aaron Brooks trying to get Joe Horn down the middle. It's a 2-deep coverage by Tampa Bay. A little play action pass. You see Horn in the slot. The responsibility to take the middle of the field is Shelton Quarles, number 53. You see him running. Aaron Brooks makes a good throw. Joe Horn normally makes that play. That's the kind of play the Saints need to make today. They need to make the big plays early, get a little rhythm going on offense.
Shelton Quarles right there in his 8th year out of Vanderbilt. 3rd down and 9 now. Deuce McAllister and Aaron Stecker both in the game. They flank Aaron Brooks, who's in the shotgun. Brooks back, gets it out of there. Pressure was coming. It's incomplete. The Bucs were bringing the pressure right there on Aaron Brooks.
The Saints have struggled in 3rd down situations, converting like 25%. Watch Simeon Rice on the right of your screen coming around the corner. 96, Ellis Wims. When Simeon Rice gets a lot of attention outside, it frees things up. Ellis Wims getting to Aaron Brooks and causing the errant throw.
Saints set to punt it away here. Mitch Berger comes on. Veteran Tim Brown back deep for Tampa Bay. Calls for the fair catch, makes it at the 25, 35-yard punt, and that's where the Bucs will take over right there. We are scoreless early in the 1st quarter here in New Orleans.
Sand painting is practiced by many cultures. Notice how they place the sand, 1 grain at a time. They've been working on this piece for over 8 days. I'm sorry, no pictures, please. Just look at the detail.
Want to get away? Now you can. Go to Southwest.com for Southwest Airlines $39 to $149 internet specials to 59 destinations nationwide. Purchased by October 21st.
You are now free to move about the country.
Hey, child, up and go. A big world is out there waiting for us. I do live in every day.
Back at the Superdome, the Buccaneers take over for the first time today, and that means our first look at 2nd-year quarterback Chris Sims making his first start.
Chris is awfully excited about this opportunity. He's really worked hard, and he has to guard against being a little too pumped up right now. I think John Gruden's going to use the running game early in this game to allow Chris to get his feet wet.
Well, Michael Pittman and Mike Allstott both start in the backfield. Now Pittman splits out wide left. Allstott, the lone back behind Sims. Sims with a give to Allstott. Finds a little hole through the middle of the line, gets across the 25 out to the 28. Jay Bellamy comes up from his safety position to stack him up. Gain of 4 to bring up 2nd down and 6. Let's check out the rest of the Buccaneer offense. Up front, keep an eye on the guys in the middle. Stinchcomb, Wade, and Coleman. Also Todd Stussy, the right tackle. Michael Pittman's going to be a big part of this football game today. The Bucs want to get their running game going. Michael Pittman played for the first time last week after having a 3-game suspension. And Pittman is behind Sims right now on 2nd down. He gets the call. Pittman tries the left side. Stacked up right at the line. Falls forward for 2, and that's going to bring up 3rd down. Let's take a look at the New Orleans defense and start up front with the big guys. And Charles Grant is definitely one man to keep your eye on. 5 sacks so far. That is 2nd in the NFL. And on the other side, Darren Howard coming in with 2 sacks. Allen, Ruff, and Rogers are the linebackers. And in the secondary, Ambrose, Thomas, Bellamy, and Jones. 3rd down, 4 now for Tampa Bay. Tim Brown checks in. 17-year veteran out of Notre Dame. Sims on the give. It's Pittman. Finds a hole. Gets across the 35. Out to the 37. Ball comes loose. The Saints say they have it. They do. Pittman found the first down, but Derek Rogers found the football, pried it loose, and then recovered it. Big play by Derek Rogers.
It sure is, and the Saints really need plays like this. They haven't stopped the run well all year long, but when you're opportunistic and create turnovers, that can make up for a lot of problems in defending the run. Derek Rogers makes the strip, and he makes the recovery. The Saints are in Buck territory.
So Derek Rogers coming up with the kind of play that the Saints need, a turnover. And hang on 1 second. We may have a challenge here. Let's see if the Buccaneers are going to try to say that Michael Pittman was down. Take a close look here. But I think that's what John Gruden's going to ask for.
Fumble is being challenged by Tampa Bay.
Well, you know what the rule is. If his knee was down before the ball came loose, that's what the officials are going to look for. We'll have their verdict when we come back. New Orleans has it in good position, but will they keep it?
The October Rest Sale is going on now.
I've got an eligible beer in the cooler on Hector. Less taste, very.
They really feel that they can take advantage as he starts to learn how to pass protect on the outside on an island by himself.
4th down, and Jeff Peagles, who has punted extremely well, and the Giants will not buy touchbacks. And
so talk all.
Job in San Francisco. One of his first hires was Jim Mora, a secondary coach, who then became his defensive coordinator. They remained very close friends. They've tried to keep the focus of this game on the game and not
line. Another 3rd down situation. They get it in to score.
And Bryant kicking away. Doug Gabriel is deep and running from a yard in the end zone. Out across the 20. Look at Doug Gabriel go. And Matt Bryant helps force him to the sideline as Gabriel.
Freak now, baby.
What are you guys doing? Building a jacuzzi. It's going to be quite a season.
An early challenge from John Gruden and the Buccaneers on the fumble by Michael Pittman. Question is, was his knee down before Derek Rogers was able to pry it loose and then recover the fumble? Take a look for yourself.
I think it's the right challenge by John Gruden, but I don't know that there's enough there. The question is, does that left knee hit down before Derek Rogers pries that ball out? And I think it's pretty darn close. I think the call on the field is going to remain because I don't think there's enough there to overturn it.
Well, our referee, Mike Carey, is taking a look at it, and we'll get the verdict from him in just a moment.
I think it's the right challenge by Gruden, though, particularly early in this ball game. You don't want to give the Saints the ball in Buck territory, but again, I don't think there's enough there. It's sort of a bing-banger.
Well, these are two teams looking for some confidence, and an early play like this can give you confidence or it can take it away. If you're Tampa Bay, you're 0-4. Things have not been going well for you so far this year. If you're New Orleans, you're 2-2. But this team seemingly always is looking for a spark. They always need something good to happen to them, and then they can find a role. This is a great play for them early in the game.
It sure is. And the Saints look like they've come to play, opportunistic, creating turnovers. This will be big if they can get this.
Well, Mike Carey making his way back out to the field right now with his decision.
After reviewing the play, the runner's knee was down and he had control of the ball. There was no fumble. Tampa Bay's ball, 1st and 10 on the 37-yard line. Tampa Bay will not be charged with a team timeout.
And I think it's probably the right call. I didn't know that there was going to be enough there for them to overturn it, but a good challenge by John Gruden and a good break for Tampa Bay.
Well, Tampa Bay will in fact keep the football, and the upshot of that is they also had enough yardage for a first down, so their drive stays alive.
Remember, 3 runs in a row, all stop Pittman trying to take some pressure off of Chris and also trying to attack this Saints defense. 31st in the NFL coming into this game against the run. They gave Emmitt Smith 127 yards last week. So look for some more of Michael Pittman, particularly early in this ballgame.
211 total yards by Arizona last week. In talking to New Orleans, they felt many of those came in the fourth quarter when the game was already out of reach. But bottom line, neither of these teams have run the ball well this year. Neither of these teams have defended the ball well. First down and 10 now for Chris Sims and the Buccaneers. Sims back looking to throw his first pass. Does. It's complete to Lee out across the 40. Check that incomplete. They'll say he was out of bounds. So Lee caught the football but couldn't get both feet down, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
And this is what Tampa Bay does on offense. They're going to shift and move a lot, and then they're going to throw high possession passes. A 3-step drop by Chris Sims. Delivers the ball in the flat to Charles Lee. Charles Lee doesn't get that 2nd foot down, and those are the kind of plays that Chris needs. They need to stay in rhythm on offense early in this ballgame.
Charles Lee, 6'3", 227, 5th year out of Central Florida. They like the progress he's made this year. 2nd down, Sims to throw again. Rolls out, got it complete at the 50-yard line, down inside the 45 to the 41 to Charles Lee. 22 yards on the play, and a first down as the Bucs move into Saints territory.
And this is the other thing we're going to see from Tampa Bay. This is what Chris Sims brings to the table. Play action pass. They fake to the right, and here comes Chris on the bootleg. He settles down, a lot of room to throw the football, and delivers a strike to Charles Lee. Charles Lee working inside, and he works away from Jay Bellamy, coming back and helping his quarterback out. Charles Lee's an explosive player. He can make some plays down the field. That's what Tampa needs this afternoon.
Bucs now have it 1st down and 10 at the 41-yard line of New Orleans. Sims to throw again. Little rollout, gets it out to fullback Greg Camella. Camella with some room to run inside the 30 down to the 29. Derek Rogers takes him down, but it's enough for another first down, a gain of 13.
Hey, run on the first 3 plays of this game, and then 2 play actions for Chris Sims. Both of them fake to the right side. Chris comes out to the left. He slips the ball into the flat to that true West Coast fullback, Greg Camella. Camella does the rest.
So the Saints on the move here in their first series with Chris Sims as their starting quarterback. Keep this in mind, the Bucs only have 3 first-quarter points all year, looking to get off to a quicker start here. The give is to Pittman. Barrels his way down towards the 25, pick up a 3 as he's taken down at the 26. That'll bring up 2nd down and 7.
You know, Dan, I like what John Pease, the defensive line coach for the Saints, said. You know, a lot of people said that Arizona got 130 yards in the 4th quarter. The Saints were trying to get the ball back. There were blitz and all that stuff. John Pease said, hey, 211 yards on the ground is 211 yards on the ground. We got to be better at it. And it looks like Tampa Bay's taking it to them up front so far in this ballgame.
Well, you look at the current drive, 7 plays, 50 yards, 3.5 minutes off the clock. Tampa Bay doing a nice job of controlling things right here, facing a 2nd down and 7. Sims up under center, looking left, throws it out there, wanted Allstott, incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd down.
Again, those are the plays that Chris has to convert on. You know, we saw the early throw to Charles Lee was out of bounds, and that one right there looked like Mike Allstott could have had it. But in order to be effective in this offense, you got to make the little plays. You got to make the 3, 4, 5-yard completions to stay on pace. They haven't done that, and now they have a 3rd and 7 situation. These are not easy to convert.
Well, in particular for a young quarterback making his first start. They'll make some noise here at the Superdome. Bucs trying to keep that drive alive. 24-year-old Chris Sims calling out the signals at the line. Sims with the inside handoff to Michael Clayton. Clayton with some room gets to the right side inside the 15 down to the 11. First down Bucks to Bucky Jones. Finally drove him out of bounds.
Boy, I love the call. The favorite son comes home. The last time Michael Clayton was here, he was winning a national championship. Watch Clayton in the bunch set. They fake the toss to Pittman. They come back with the underneath handoff to Clayton. This guy was a star at LSU. They won a national championship here last January. Coming home and making a mark early in this ball game. He's definitely the Buccaneers' most explosive offensive player. They're trying to get him the ball in a lot of different ways.
The Bucs trying to get the play in here. They're not going to do it in time. With the play clock winding down, Chris Sims is going to have to call a timeout, walk over to the sidelines, and talk things over with John Gruden. We are scoreless in the first, but the Bucs are on the move. We'll be right back.
That's Jim Nelson getting a hand on it.
Sorry, I said Rob Morris. Thank you, Jim.
So they'll review it. And the Raiders will either be punting or the Colts will take over the 20.
Well, that gives Bill something to complain about, doesn't it?
Does that surprise you that they lead the league in penalties?
Yes, because this is a very intelligent, very smart football team, and it's got Bill Belichick a little perplexed. He thinks that these guys should be better than that in terms of playing smarter football.
On 1st and 20, the toss to Dillon. And invading Zach Thomas. You cannot go around the league and talk about the Dolphins and mention 54.
Carries 33 yards and a touchdown already. Here's Deuce straight ahead. Breaks it back.
There's an easier way to get the gear the pros wear. Just call 877 NFL Shop. For a free team catalog, go to NFL Shop on NFL.com or call 877 NFL Shop.
This week on the Best Damn Sports Show, period. Michael Strahan, Ernie Banks, and comedian Drew Carey. Weeknights on FSN.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Bud Light. Fresh, smooth, real. It's all.
All right, back in Tampa, the red zone's been the twilight zone for the Bucs this year. 7 trips to the red zone, 1 touchdown, Jason.
They got problems in both areas. 7's not enough through 4 games, and 1 out of 7 ain't real good either, and that's a question that John Gruden's trying to address right here. We'll see how they do.
All right, Gruden sends 3 receivers in the game. Michael Pittman alone back behind Chris Sims. First down 10 from the 11. Pittman gets the call right side. Gets inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line, pickup of 4. It'll bring up 2nd down and 6. Derek Rogers, the outside linebacker, coming up to stack things up.
Hey, Dan, the teams that are the best in the red zone are teams that run the ball in the red zone. I like what John Gruden did right there. 3 wide receiver set, and then you hand the ball to Pittman. Yards are hard to get down there. If you can run it, you're really heading in the right direction.
Well, they're bringing in a lot of beef right here. Mike Allstott stays in along with the other fullback, number 34, Greg Camilla. They're both lined up behind Sims right now. Sims gives it to Allstott, powering his way inside the 5, down to the 4. That'll be a gain of 3 and bring up 3rd down. Brian Young, defensive tackle, making the stop for the Saints.
You know, we asked Jim Haslett this week, what do the Saints have to do? He said, we got to do 2 things. We got to run the football, and we got to stop the run. And, you know, he's an old linebacker. He's a tough guy. He believes it begins and ends in the running game, and I do too, particularly down here. They got to put Chris Sims and this young Tampa Bay offense on their heels a little bit in throwing situations. They haven't stopped him the run so far in this first quarter of the ball game.
3rd down and 3. They can get a first down without scoring. 12th play of the drive right here. Sims, play action, back, looks, left side, throws it out there. Clayton, did he catch it? No, incomplete. Michael Clayton got his hands on the football. Fred Thomas in coverage, doing enough to break it up, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Chris goes play action and tries to get Michael Clayton in the corner. Here's Clayton working the slot. You're going to bunch up and try to pick these Saints defenders off. Clayton does a nice job running the route to the corner. A good throw by Chris. Clayton climbing the ladder, but an excellent defensive play by Fred Thomas, knocking the ball out.
Fred Thomas, 9th year out of Tennessee Martin. Getting that arm up there and separating Clayton from the football. And you know, Clayton would have loved to have scored right there. 75 tickets he had to purchase. Then our producer, Greg Scopatoni, gave him 4 more. So he's got 79 family members here at the game today, and friends as well. And John Gruden may be asking them to take another look at this one.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. It's being challenged by Tampa Bay.
All right, John Gruden wondering whether or not, in fact, Michael Clayton got both feet down, which would indicate a touchdown for the Buccaneers. He's already won 1 challenge today. Looking for a second one right here. We'll take a break, come right back, find out whether or not he's 2 for 2.
So, yeah.
Bud Light security clamp. Just attach.
Shannon Sharp, Boomer Esiason, and a whole Pro Bowl lineup of analysts have to say. It's all at NFL.com or at NFL on AOL. Second down 10, and back to the shotgun, and returning to the lineup, Stokely. It's Harrison with his first catch. Good tackle there by Charles Woodson. Let's go to New York with an update.
All right, Jim, and in Foxborough, the Patriots turn an interception into pay dirt. Brady, 1 yard to Daniel Graham. The extra point is good. The Patriots looking for win number 19 in a row. Lead at 7-0.
Legitimate theory about what's wrong with her.
It's a crime waiting to be solved.
What's this treatment going to do for me?
I'm not talking about a treatment. I'm talking about a cure.
House premieres Tuesday, November 16th on Fox.
Hey, better, hey, better, hey, better, hey, better, hey, better, swing! Hey, better, hey, better, hey, better, hey, better, swing! Hey, better, swing!
No Texas!
Sundays, TV's 2 biggest hits are now back-to-back. The Simpsons.
Good news, Marge. I've learned to walk naked on film.
And Arrested Development, Emmy winner for Best Comedy.
I'm in love with your brother. In law. Sorry, I should have finished that thought.
Sundays at 8, 7 Central, starting November 7th on Fox.
Referee Mike Carey taking a second look. John Gruden with a challenge. The pass was ruled incomplete in the end zone to Michael Clayton. And this is either going to be touchdown Bucs or incomplete pass and 4th down. Mike Carey coming up with a verdict right here.
The receiver, while airborne, had control of the ball, came down with 1 foot inbounds, then his butt hit inbounds, but then he lost control of the ball after going to the ground on his own. Therefore, the pass is incomplete. Tampa Bay will be charged with their first.
Well, apparently, according to Mike Carey, you need to get more than a foot and a butt down to make it count as a touchdown.
Again, I think it's the right call by John Gruden to challenge that thing. It looked like both feet were down. The butt came down, and then the ball came out. You know, the interesting thing here, though, is you have to win both of your challenges to keep your challenges. And he challenged the fumble early, which was overturned. But, you know, with 7:08 to go in the first quarter, and you're out of challenges, that may play a role in this ball game as we get going.
Yeah, under the new rule, had they won that challenge, they would have been awarded another as long as they have a timeout. On the sidelines, you see Sims and Clayton talking over there. And they're hoping that those two are going to team up for a long, long time.
Well, a good start by Chris Sims, and the concern that I had for Chris was trying to do too much in this ball game, and he settled in nicely. They ran the ball well. The play actions were good. He's seeing the field well, throwing the ball on time. Not trying to do too much, just playing quarterback in the offense, and that's what he needs to do today.
Well, again, keep in mind that this is a team that has only scored 3 points in the first quarter all year. They've not been getting off to good starts. They got a chance to pick up 3 in Chris Sims' first drive right here as Martin Gramatica comes on to attempt the field goal. And he sends it up and through, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do in fact jump out to a 3-0 lead in this football game. We will take a break. 7:05 to go in the first quarter. Tampa Bay 3, New Orleans nothing. Saints will get it back when we come back.
I need a little
for the new you. Now that's moving you forward.
The next pick at the United Way draft belongs to the food bank.
We select Brian Urlacher.
Now we need a ruling because Urlacher was already selected by the Home Restoration Program. Erica.
Okay, well, I just spoke to the United Way, and Urlacher is allowed to simultaneously volunteer.
So how does Brian Urlacher get drafted twice? Well, he's got a big heart and he's really devoted to the Chicago community. The toy drive picks next, and word is they're also looking at Urlacher.
We're going with Urlacher.
Get involved in your community. It's what matters.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Toyota. Choose any direction as long as it's moving forward. By Singular Wireless. By State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And by FedEx Kinko's, your one-stop for copying, printing, and shipping.
All right, back at the Superdome. Saints now trailing the Bucs by a score of 3-0. Chris Sims coming up with a field goal in his first drive as a starter in the National Football League. Saints will get it back momentarily. Michael Lewis back deep. And he is always dangerous anytime he gets his hands on the football, either as a return man or as a receiver out there working with Aaron Brooks. Gramatica to kick it off, and does. It's a high kick. Taken by one of the up men at the 22. Taken down at the 29-yard line. Lamont Hall with the return. And don't forget, we got you covered all day long with National Football League action. Then coming up a little bit later tonight, baseball action. And how about the job that Jose Lima did for the Los Angeles Dodgers last night, keeping their hopes alive against the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals still up in that series, 2-1. But the Dodgers looked terrific last night, and Lima came up big when they needed it. Tonight they'll look for something out of Odalis Perez, who did not pitch well in his first outing of this series. Jeff Suppan trying to close it out for the Cardinals.
Great time of year, isn't it, Dan?
Absolutely. A lot going on. Sports fans' dream. Right now, Saints trying to get something going. Aaron Brooks gives it to McAllister. McAllister finds a hole over the right side. Across the 35 to the 36. Dwight Smith takes him down, but not before Deuce can pick up 7.
Dan, pretty easy to see what New Orleans is trying to do with their game plan. Number 26, Deuce McAllister, north and south, just trying to hammer this Tampa Bay defense. Deuce has the high ankle sprain. You're going to see him running over safeties a lot today. Not a lot of east-west running for him. And this is what Tampa Bay is vulnerable. They're fast, they're quick, they're athletic, but are they strong enough to hold up against this run?
2nd down and 2. McAllister gets a breather. Aaron Stecker checks in as a running back for the Saints. Started the last 2 games in place of McAllister. Brooks looking for Boo Williams, his tight end. Crossed the 50 down at the 45. Incomplete. Wanted to call on Dwight Smith, but he's not going to get it.
I like what they're doing here on offense. Hammer the ball and then go play action. You see Boo Williams on the left side of your screen. He's running the corner route. Dwight Smith, their strong safety, used to be a cornerback. Excellent cover guy. Boo Williams had him there. Aaron Brooks a little high with the throw.
Dwight Smith giving up some size right there. Boo Williams 6'4", Dwight Smith 5'10". 3rd down and 2 now for the Saints. Trying to keep this drive alive. 3 receivers in as Brooks works out of the shotgun. Brooks gets the ball, but before he can get the play off, looks like the Saints may have moved a bit too early.
Ball start. Offense, number 82. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Well, Mike Carey has been busy, and if there's one thing that has hurt the Saints, it has been these false start calls that have hurt their drives over and over this year.
Yeah, the pre-snap penalties. This one's on Boo Williams. You see him right here on the bottom of your screen. They've had some problems with their tackles, hearing in these 3rd down situations. They had 5 false start penalties last week. Not a good way to start. You go from 3rd and 2 to 3rd and 7. Becomes a completely different offensive call for the Saints.
Well, the Saints have been brutal on 3rd down this year, worst in the NFL. Brooks trying to do something about that here. Throws to Stecker underneath, nowhere to go, and down he goes, short of the 1st down. Gains 5, but that's not enough, and they'll have to punt it away. Derek Brooks coming up to make the stop. And hang on just a second, tempers flaring down on the field.
No love lost between these two teams. They play each other twice a year, and they're getting it on pretty early here.
Well, they both understand how important a victory is. The Saints understand that they have enough talent on this team to be in the playoffs. And to do that, you got to get in the playoff chase. They're sitting at 2-2 right now. The Buccaneers at 0-4 are not accustomed to that at all.
Rondé Barber around the pile. Looks like LaCharles Bentley hitting him a little late, and Rondé's a fighter. I don't know if it's a good idea to be messing around with the big man in there, but they got a lot of fight in this Tampa Bay team. And again, no love lost between these two guys. They know each other all too well, and sometimes fisticuffs break out, as they say, Dan.
Talk about moving up in weight divisions. You're supposed to gain the weight when you move up in your divisions.
Absolutely.
Rondé Barber giving up a lot of size right there. Mitch Berger on to punt it away, and once again, it looks like the Bucs move. Excuse me, the Saints.
Offense number 40. 5-yard penalty is still 4th down.
It's really amazing. I mean, you can make some excuses for false start penalties happening on the road, but you know, to have 2 of them in the first quarter, one of them on a punt, you know, pretty interesting. Something that Jim Haslett tried to address this week in practice. I think he's arguing that the Bucs players tried to draw the Saints guys offside. Maybe a good argument, but they got to rectify those problems.
Berger gets the punt away. Tim Brown back deep for the Buccaneers, calls for a fair catch, makes it at about the 16-yard line. That's where Tampa Bay will take over. 53-yard punt pins the Bucs back deep, but they're leading by a score of 3-0.
This for our baby.
Thing is bigger than it looks.
I don't think this is gonna fit. I think we need a bigger car. Do you want me to call my dad?
No. You don't. Your dad's a busy man.
When life changed.
Sapp having a chance to be reunited today with Tony Dungy. They spent so many years together in Tampa. What was it Tony Dungy told us when he took over as the Bucs coach? He said, I brought Warren in. I said, I need you to be my Joe Green.
That's right.
I need you to be a leader. And he said he was just that, never a problem. As they helped turn the downtrodden franchise into a winner. 1st down and 10 in the final seconds of the first quarter. Edgerrin in the open. And another 1st down at the 50.
The most dangerous stunt ever attempted on television. 10,000 feet up.
The biggest fear of mine.
Wait. With no nets, no second chances.
Come on, you can do it.
Billionaire Richard Branson is taking 16 contestants on the adventure of a lifetime. Whew. How far will they go for the biggest prize in reality TV history? You're about to find out. The Rebel Billionaire, series premiere Tuesday, November 9th on Fox.
Because leaders are not born, they are made. And they're made just like everything else is made in this country. They're made by a hard effort.
Now Chris Sims and the Buccaneers will begin this drive from their own 16, leading by a score of 3-0. Chris, of course, the son of Phil Sims, terrific quarterback for the New York Giants for 15 years, Super Bowl MVP in Super Bowl 21. Called his father on Monday, told him he was getting the start, talked to the whole family, and as you can imagine, they were extremely happy for him, but he said Dad will also be nervous today.
Yeah, he sure will. Phil was such a cool player, but I think he's a nervous dad. Chris has played really well so far. Nice first series for him.
2 tight ends in for the Bucs. Pittman the back, right in behind Sims, and he'll get the call. Trying the right side, not much there. Taken down right at the 15. Charles Grant making the stop.
You know, a lot of stuff going on in Chris's head, making his first start. And this offense isn't easy. Example of a play. This is sort of a basic play that John Gruden has. Dummy cadence on 1. Green right slot. 93 Buster. Cannon with 96 Seattle. Alert for Indian. 3 different play options for Chris. Very wordy. Not easy to do. And John Gruden will speak this offense fast. Sometimes he gets Chris a little nervous, and he gets going maybe a little bit too fast. Chris has been cool so far.
As we told you, of course, Jason Garrett was in camp with the Bucs during the preseason. Throw out to Charles Lee is good out across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Very close to a 1st down. Gain of 9.
I like the mix by John Gruden. Running on 1st down. A high percentage pass on 2nd down. Look at Charles Lee working right here. They called a little stick route. It's a 5-yard out. Chris, a 3-step drop. Delivers it on time. The Saints defensive line can rush the passer. 3-step drops will help the Bucs up front.
Well, they came up just short of the 1st down. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 1. Mike Allstott is the deep back behind Sims. Greg Camella's the up back. You'd figure they're going to bring the big guy here, and they do. Allstott dives across the 25. Needed to get out to the 26. It's going to be very close. It'll depend on the mark and how much forward progress they give him.
Good penetration by the defensive line of the Saints, forcing Mike Allstott to go over the top. You don't like to do that in this situation. I think he might have had enough, though. I think we're going to get a measurement here, Dan.
Well, as we said, the sticks are right at about the 26-yard line.
Excellent penetration. They stay down, they stay low, and here goes Mike Allstott. Forward progress seems to stop. Falling forward, inching forward. I think they got the first down, though.
Well, they will, in fact, give him the first down. It'll be first down and 10 as the Bucs keep the drive alive. Mike Allstott now in his 9th year. Still in the game, now moves to the up back position. Michael Pittman shifts out of the backfield, wide receiver on the right side. Sims to pass on first down. Pocket holds, looks, throws, got to complete to Clayton across the 40 to the 45, out to the 46-yard line to Bucky Jones with a stop, gain of 21. Bucs have it with a 3-0 lead right here. Right now, let's swing it to L.A. and a game break with James Brown.
Hey, Dan, capping a 12-play, 80-yard drive. Take a look at how easy Minnesota makes this look. Culpepper, a slant pattern to Randy Moss. 6th touchdown reception of the season for Moss that ties him with league leader Terrell Owens. 7-0 Minnesota. Back to Dan Miller and Jason Garrett.
All right, JB, thank you very much. Right here, it's the Bucs up 3-zip. Michael Pittman and Jamel White into the game. Now it's White split out to the right side of the wide receiver position. Sims with a give to Pittman, trying to get the corner on the left side. Saints do a great job of stringing it out. James Allen forces him out of bounds. Gain of 1. It'll bring up 2nd down and 9.
They sure do, and I'm not so sure this is the right kind of call against this Saints defense. They run the stretch play to the left-hand side, and the Saints defense can run. There's a lot of guys reaching here, trying to block those guys, but they get Michael Clayton, they get Michael Pittman going east and west. James Allen can run. If I'm John Gruden, I hammer a little bit more, run north and south at the Saints defense.
Well, he said he was not going to shrink the game plan for Chris Sims. We've seen Sims do a good job of directing things so far for Tampa Bay. Clayton in motion, Sims back to pass again. Pump fake, roll it out of the pocket, gets it to Allstott across midfield. They're going to say he was down at the 48 before the ball came loose. Derek Rogers makes the stop, but a gain of 4.
And those are the kind of plays that Chris needs to make. Obviously, with the pump fake, Tampa Bay is trying to get the ball down the field. There's nothing there, though. Chris gets a little pressure in his face, so you find your check down. Mike Allstott sitting there. He's got protection first, and he's going to show up right over here. Chris gets his eyes down, finds the check down. You got to make completions. You got to get yourself into manageable 3rd down situations. Chris did that right there.
3rd down and 5 for the Buccaneers. Inside the final minute of the first quarter. That's Lee in motion. Sims back to pass. Pressure comes. Down he goes. Sack, ball came loose. Saints scrambling for it. Did they come up with a turnover they were looking for? You bet. Saints football.
Dan, the strength of this Saints defense is their defensive line. Number 91 is their 1st-round pick out of Ohio State, Will Smith. A lot of pressure on Chris Sims.
There is a flag on the play, so we'll have to wait until they sort things out. Right now, the Saints have the football. Chris Sims walked off the field holding his left arm. You see him there on the sidelines.
The sack fumble is what he's trying to avoid. Bad plays are okay. Disastrous plays are not. Hard to hold up on a 7-step drop. This offensive line, there's a lot of good defensive linemen, a lot of good pass rushers for the Saints. That time, Will Smith getting to Chris Sims, making a big play for the Saints on defense.
Keep an eye on big number 91, Will Smith, right here.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 91 of the defense. They retain possession. However, 15 yards will be assessed. First down.
Looks like Chris Sims got his left elbow and shoulder trapped up underneath his body. Will Smith, very active guy, making an inside move on Todd Stussy and getting to Sims.
Well, Brian Greasy is the number 2 quarterback this week. Brad Johnson demoted his starter all the way down to number 3. If, in fact, they need to make a change at quarterback, Greasy would be the guy, unless they chose to go to Johnson, in which case you couldn't go to either of the first 2 after that.
Absolutely, and that's the danger right there. The third quarterback can only play in the fourth quarter. If he plays earlier than that, the other guys cannot play. So it's a high-risk situation. You have to go to Greasy in this situation. So if something does happen to him, you still have a quarterback, Brad Johnson, who can go into the ball game.
All right, we'll get a report from the sidelines just as soon as we can on the condition of Chris Sims. Bottom line, though, a fumble. And the Saints have the football, trailing 3-0 with 43 seconds to go here in the first quarter. McAllister, the deep back, gets the call, trying the left side. Not much room there, stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. Jeff Gooch coming up from his outside linebacker position to make the stop.
Dan, that is not what you want to do against this Tampa Bay defense. You do not want to run east and west. Number 26 has to go north and south. Once you start running to the sidelines, they all run too well. All 11 guys on that Tampa defense can run. They run fast, they're quick, they're athletic. You got to try to hammer them between the tackles.
Well, that's going to be the last play of the first quarter. A Martin Gramatica field goal, the only scoring of the first quarter here. Saints have it back, though, after the turnover, and they're hoping to get things turned around, trailing by a score of 3-0 here at the Superdome in Louisiana. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
Yard penalty is still 4th down.
Flash mobs. People are
Howard, the dean of NFL coaches. I remember when they hired him, he was young.
Yes, he was.
I mean, now he's the dean.
He's still pretty young.
He is. Which says, I think, something sad about the state of the NFL head coaching position.
Bill Cowher, tough dude. 1st and 10 at the 49. Deuce Staley back in the game. Play action. Roethlisberger looking beautiful. One-handed grab. Hines Ward, who leads the AFC in receiving, picks up 15. Dalen McCutcheon with the tackle. And that's the end of the first quarter, and what a quarter it was. We'll return to Heinz Field after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Police wrong when they ruled
the game bucket deal.
Psychs the heck out of them. And you know, I saw special teams coach Joe DiCamillo standing right beside Jim Mora, and they were kind of talking to each other. Not many times do you see the special teams coach right next to the head coach debating what they're going to do. Boy, do you want to know why the young guys on this team love Jim Mora? Because he'll do stuff like that.
short drop and a run. Looked like a quarterback draw.
Absolutely it was.
For Michael Vick, and he takes.
Rescue Me, this week, only on FX.
All right, back in New Orleans, it's the Saints trailing Tampa Bay by a score of 3-0. We'll get you an update on Chris Sims' condition in just a moment. Saints right now facing a 2nd down and 11.
Score!
Aaron Brooks with Deuce McAllister behind him. 3 receivers in the game for New Orleans. May have drawn Tampa Bay off sides, gives it to McAllister out towards midfield, taken down at the 49-yard line, but flags everywhere after a gain of 7. Greg Spires may have been caught off sides.
Offside defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
This Buck defense is very aggressive. Ron Marinelli, the defensive line coach, preaches getting off the football. You have to use the hard count against him. Aaron Brooks, good job there, getting him back into a 2nd and manageable situation.
All right, for the latest on Chris Sims, let's get down to the sidelines and Eric Clemens. Eric, what's going on?
All right, guys, Chris Sims has been trying to walk it off, shake it off. You know, he's a big, tough kid out of the University of Texas, but he tried to throw a football just a second ago. Could not. He waved everything off. He's still trying to walk around on the sidelines. Right now, they tell us he's injured his left shoulder. His return is questionable, guys.
All right, thank you, Eric. Looks like we will, in fact, see Brian Greasy. 2nd down and 6. Nothing there for the Bucs. That'll bring up third down. Rondé Barber coming up to make the stop on Deuce McAllister.
Rondé Barber coming off the offensive right side and just making the play in the backfield. One thing about these corners, both Brian Kelly and Rondé Barber, very active. They're good in pass coverage, but very active in run defense. When you have 11 guys running to the football like this Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense does, you got a great chance to be successful.
Third down and 6 for the Saints, trying to keep this drive alive and get something on the scoreboard, trailing here 3-0. We approach the 14-minute mark in the second quarter. Brooks from the shotgun. Pocket holds, throws over the middle. He's got it complete to his tight end, Boo Williams, and he's got the first down. Williams to the 45, gain of 8. That's what's happening here. Let's go to L.A. right now and find out what else is happening around the league. JB, what's up?
Hey, Dan, Vinny Testaverde, unsuccessful to Keyshawn the first time, goes back to him again. Terry Bradshaw says, well-placed pass to the outside. Only Keyshawn could get it. His first touchdown reception as a Cowboy. They're on top of the Giants by 4. Back to Dan and Jason.
All right, JB, thank you very much. Cowboys getting it done right there. Bucs leading the Saints here. New Orleans with it in Tampa Bay territory. Deuce McAllister, who did get the start today after missing 2 consecutive games, is stacked up at the line by Simeon Rice.
There's a glimpse right there. I don't think Deuce Staley's 100%. I mean, here's a guy who can cut on a dime. A little bit of he had the high ankle sprain coming into this game, and he just isn't the same guy right now. He has to run north and south, can't make those cuts as well as he has so far. Deuce McAllister, 6 carries, 20 yards, coming out right here, getting a blow by Aaron Stecker.
Aaron Stecker, the former Tampa Bay Buccaneer. But quite frankly, John Gruden told us the team misses. He was a valuable backup, and he's been a valuable backup for New Orleans. In particular, when Deuce McAllister went down. Brooks back to pass, gets it to Stecker. Stecker down to the 45 and gets down to the 44-yard line, and a nice shot in there on Brian Kelly. That was just man on man. It looked like Stecker may have gotten the best of that one.
They all run, and they all hit. Again, you don't want to go east and west against this Tampa Bay team. They throw the little wide route. Here comes Stecker out to the right-hand side. Brian Kelly comes up. They all can run. Look at Derek Brooks. Here comes Brian Kelly. Pretty good blow by Aaron Stecker. Only 1-yard gain, though, for New Orleans.
Aaron Stecker certainly looking forward to playing against his former team. Came over as a free agent during the offseason. He'll remain in the game right now on 3rd down and 9. And as the play clock winds down, New Orleans is going to have to call a timeout, come over to the sidelines and talk about it. Facing a 3rd down and a 3-0 deficit here at the Superdome.
13-yard line. Illegal contact is the call downfield. So that one hurts Detroit. Kelvin Pritchett is in, the defensive tackle, replacing Sean Rogers for the Lions. First down, Falcons. Crumpler in motion. Warwick Dunn down to the 10-yard line.
All right, what Mike Vick has done for his Atlanta Falcons team right now is he's created a problem. Detroit came out and was stopping the run. They were stopping Warwick Dunn. But right now, Mike Vick, who has shown early in this game that he can stay in the pocket and hit his receivers and read downfield, well, now that's opened up different problems. They don't become one-dimensional. You don't just have to stop the run and make Mike Vick throw the ball, because he can.
11th play of the drive, and there's movement, and across the line.
Heat pasteurized at 140 degrees. Coors Light is always frost brewed at an icy 34. Why? Because we know you love cold beer. Coors Light, the coldest tasting beer in the world.
Introducing Domino's new Double Melt Pizza. Layer upon layer of flavor with a creamy blend of cheeses and herbs between 2 thin crusts. Buy your medium 1-topping Double Melt Pizza for $9.99 and get any second medium pizza for just $5 more. Get the door. It's Domino's new Double Melt Pizza.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade. By Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Get ready for the game. By Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. And by Domino's Pizza. Get the door, it's Domino's.
All right, back at the Superdome, we have documented for you the fact that the Saints come into this game last in the NFL on 3rd down conversions, facing a 3rd down and 8 right here. Brooks again will go from the shotgun. 3 receivers in the game. Brooks has got some time, throws over the middle, incomplete, looking for Jerome Pathon. That'll bring up 4th down.
It's hard to make 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 9s in this league, particularly against a defense like Tampa Bay. Tampa is not going to blitz Aaron Brooks today. They're going to try to rush with their 4 down guys and play an aggressive zone defense and match the Saints' routes. Excellent job by the underneath coverage right there for Tampa Bay.
And Brooks just trying to wedge it in between a couple of defenders right here. Not going to do it. Tampa Bay had that one well defensed. So Tampa Bay will get the ball back. Tim Brown, the veteran, back to receive his 3rd punt of the day. Calls for a fair catch, makes it at the 8-yard line, and John Gruden told us, hey, if Tim Brown doesn't have a lot of room, he'll be calling fair catch back there. Bucs leading 3-zip. We'll be right back.
Atlanta Falcons have a 7-0 lead. They have never trailed this season. They take the lead. Warwick Dunn, great blocking.
Todd McClure, great up front.
Again, coming from the outside, so he's lined up there on the slot position. But this time, Mueldy Moore blocks him up. So you see the Vikings adjusting to that blitz that they've not seen before on film.
You can hear this crowd getting loud at the perfect time. 3rd and long. Vikings needing the 35. Play clock's down to 2, and Culpepper forced to call a timeout again, and the Vikings have used all 3 of their timeouts.
Line of SUVs. Professional grade engineering. It's not more than you need, just more than you're used to.
Somebody help!
The Washington Post calls House the best hospital show since the debut of ER.
He's not breathing.
Should be dead in 2 minutes.
November 16th.
You're risking a patient's life.
See why all doctors are not created equal.
No one believes me.
I do.
House premieres Tuesday, November 16th on Fox.
Now, Chris Sims knocked out of the game with an injury. Brian Greasy comes in to take over at quarterback. Brad Johnson, who had been the starter in Tampa and the man that led them to a Super Bowl championship 2 years ago, remains on the bench. Mike Allstott with a carry, not much there, stacked up right at the line. Jason, let's talk about that. Interesting decision for John Gruden that not only does he demote Brad Johnson, but takes him all the way down to 3rd string.
Yeah, and I think Coach Gruden sort of ducked the question when we asked him last night, but I think his real reason for putting Brad as the 3rd guy, it's an emotional week. Brad's been the starter of this team for the last 4 years, and it's emotional for him, and a lot of stuff that he went through on Monday and Tuesday with this decision to start Chris. And I think Brian's been in this backup situation all year long. I just think he wanted to let Brad sort of have a week off, maintain the backup rhythm that Brian had coming into this ball game.
2nd down and 9 for Greasy. Flags everywhere. It looked like Derek Deese may have moved.
Offense number 70. 5-yard penalty. In this case, half the distance to the goal. Still 2nd down.
A couple things going on there, Dan. You know, Derek Deese, he's got his hands full. I mean, they rushed the passer so well in New Orleans. He's playing in a foreign, on the road here. It's a dome. These defensive ends have a huge advantage. And then you have the 3rd different cadence that you've heard in 5 days. So, you know, a lot of stuff going on for Derek Deese. The offensive line really has to have some discipline in handling the snap count, particularly early in this ball game.
Also a change on the offensive line. Number 67, Kenyatta Walker, is checked in for Todd Stussy. Greasy back into his own end zone to pass. Gets it out to Michael Pittman. Not much room for him. Stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Nothing there. And that'll bring up 3rd down. So if you're playing Greasy, Jason, you can relate as a quarterback. Your first drive starts out inside your own 10-yard line. That's not a real way to get comfortable.
It's tough. And, you know, we talked about how fast the Bucs are on defense. The Saints have a lot of great athletes on defense. They can run. The down guys can run. The linebackers can run. On your 3rd play of the game, you're standing in the shadow of the opponent's goalpost. Not easy to do. Brian's played a lot of football, though, in his life. University of Michigan, the starting quarterback of the Broncos. He's been in these situations. He'll be fine.
They're standing at the Superdome. trying to help this Saints defense make a play. They'll give it on the draw to Pittman. Gets positive yardage out to the 10, but not enough for the first down. Cedric Hodge in his first game back after sitting out 4 games for violating the league's substance abuse policy makes the stop.
It's important right there as a quarterback that you don't make a big error that turns the game. You run the offense, you complete the screen, you handle the snap, you hand it off. Let's punt the ball. Let's put it back in our defense a little bit and allow Brian in this offense to get comfortable and get their feet wet.
Well, Mitch Berger comes on to punt it away. And the play clock is winding down. Tampa Bay might have to use a timeout here. They're going to have to. There's only 6 seconds left on the play clock. There's a mix-up on the sideline there, as you can see.
He's going to let it go all the way down. I think a good move by John Gruden not calling the timeout right there.
Delay. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Well, the only downside of that is now you're snapping the ball from your 5 instead of your 10-yard line, and you're backing your punter up even further into the end zone.
Yeah, you get close to the back of that end line, but you know, a lot of times players just start calling timeout when things go wrong. Sometimes it's okay to take the 5 yards if they protect well in this situation. Although the Saints did have 2 block punts last week against Arizona, so it's really important for Tampa Bay to be on their toes with this protection here.
Well, if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right here, you can ill afford a mistake. Josh Bidwell, here's my advice: don't look back, look forward. Gets it away. Michael Lewis back deep. Flag. Hang on a second. No play.
Delay. Offense. Half the distance to the goal. Still 4th down.
Well, I tell you what, John Gruden told us yesterday that this 0-4 start has been humiliating, and I know they're winning this game 3-0 right now, but these are not mistakes that are characteristic of a John Gruden team.
Well, these mistakes are characteristic of an 0-4 team, though. You know, you make the pre-snap penalties, you have problems with substitution. These are hard situations to overcome, and now we talk about it. Now it's only a 12-yard snap. Josh Bidwell heels in the back end of the goal line. He gets it out of there.
Able to get it off. Michael Lewis back deep for the Saints. He'll field it at the 50-yard line. And here comes Lewis at the 45, trying to get the corner. Almost does. Driven out at the 39-yard line by Dwight Smith. 48-yard punt, 10-yard return. And the Saints are going to have it in great field position, trailing by a score of 3-0 here at the Superdome.
Got everything. He's got the size of a Terrell Owens, but he's also got even better speed, and you got to see a little glimpse of it there. Just came across just like a streak of lightning.
And he told us he's pumped for this game going against Randy Moss, even though they're not on the field at the same time, just a matchup between 2 premier wide receivers. Carr to pass again. This time to the other side, Corey Bradford. Let's check out JB in LA once again.
Hey, Curtin, let's check out Atlanta. Warwick Dunn capping a 12-play, 68-yard drive. His 6th rushing touchdown. Atlanta up 7-0, looking for their first ever 5-0 start. Craig Biggio with 2 men on for the Astros. Cracks this 3-run homer in the bottom of the 2nd. Put the Astros on top 4-2. Jeff Bagwell added an RBI single. Houston up 5-2, looking for its first ever playoff series win. Back to Kurt and Tim.
Thanks, JB. And Kurt, that's how.
What did Jim say is your favorite red?
Best so far this season.
That one in.
The left quarterback draw.
That is correct. And
Work in the middle for 2.
You know, it's interesting when you see Dominic Rhodes come into the game.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Hummer. Check out the H2. Hummer, like nothing else.
Jim Haslett, head coach of the Saints. Monty Kiffin, defensive coordinator of the Bucs. Their paths have crossed many times throughout the years.
They sure have. When Jim Haslett was a linebacker with the Buffalo Bills, Monty Kiffin was his linebacker coach. They coached together here with the Saints. And Monty Kiffin said right away, I knew Jim Haslett was going to be a head coach in this league. He just had it as a player.
Said he's known 2 of the players that he's had over the years were going to be great coaches. One was Jim Haslett, the other Jack Del Rio. Deuce McAllister, a pretty darn good running back, finding a hole right there, but the ball comes loose. Down around the 20-yard line, we'll have to see who's got it at the bottom of that pile. Deuce McAllister with a big run for the Saints. And in fact, they're able to recover. Looked like Dante Stallworth may have gotten on top of it. Dwight Smith had pried it loose.
And Monty Kiffin told us that Hazlett's going to say they're going to hammer the football this week. And one more time, it's Deuce McAllister running north and south, forcing Dwight Smith to come up and make a tackle. Dwight, a nice job flipping that ball out, but a lot of black shirts around it, hustling to the football. Another big play for New Orleans.
You make the great point right there, Jason, which is not to take the play off once you see it going the other direction. Everybody running towards the ball, and that helped them recover the fumble. McAllister stutter steps at the line, dives inside the 20, down to the 17. Well, we mentioned the fact that Jim Haslett had in fact played for Monty Kiffin when Kiffin was the linebackers coach in Buffalo. Haslett was a second-round pick by the Buffalo Bills, earned all rookie honors, AP Rookie of the Year, played for the Bills from 1979 to 1985 at the linebacker position. Chasing down Richard Todd.
He sure is, and I think he coaches a lot like he plays. He's a hard-nosed guy. He's a smart football player. He's a smart football coach. He's tough. He's emotional, and I think the Saints team reflects his personality in a lot of ways.
Second down and 7, play action fake. Brooks back looking left side. Got Boo Williams. Touchdown Saints.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you run the football. Saints come back with play action, and Boo Williams was a wide receiver in college. This guy really can run from the tight end position. We saw him earlier try to get the corner out. This time they come right back with it. Again, he beats the Tampa Bay secondary. A big scoring strike for New Orleans.
17 yards on the play, and the Saints are on the scoreboard. Leading in this one by a score of 6-3 with the extra point coming up right here by John Carney. Spot down kick is up, and it is good. So the Saints tack on a touchdown. They now lead in this game by a score of 7-3 for Boo Williams, his first touchdown of the season, and it's a big one because it put the Saints on top.
And did Stokely have it long enough? No, they say.
You have got to hold on to that football to the ground. The play has to be over. Flash it on the scoreboard. Let the fans know.
Look at the rookie here, number 30, Stuart Schweigert.
They don't bump Brandon Stokely. He never hits. When he hits the ground, he must hold on to the football. And everybody wants a challenge, even the Colt players, but they're wrong. It is simple. Tony Dungy is on the sideline explaining it to Brandon Stokely.
Stokely's trying to urge his coach to challenge it. The Colts call timeout. First signal was timeout.
Now, it's possible they could tell Tony right now, don't challenge it because it is incomplete. Let's see.
Indianapolis has challenged the ruling on the field on the incomplete pass.
So they will review it. Stokely convinces his own coach. Go for it, coach. I had it long enough. We'll take another look at it. Schweigert.
A meeting.
Who brought the donut?
Doing lunch. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And climbing the corporate ladder. This isn't just a job interview, it's an adventure.
Oh man, that is nuts, bro. I'm done.
The Rebel Billionaire. Series premiere Tuesday, November 9th on Fox. Bring some clean underwear.
All right, back at the Superdome, they call him Holy Moses, and he's a happy man right now. 3 plays, 40 yards. Saints score a touchdown. Boo Williams got it done right there on the receiving end of a pass from Aaron Brooks.
Boo Williams was a former receiver in college, and boy, he really can run from that tight end position. Running the corner route, he just ran up on Dwight Smith, who's an excellent cover safety. Aaron Brooks delivered a strike.
John Carney set to kick it away. Torrey Cox back deep for the Buccaneers, takes it at his 3, grabs the ball after dropping it across the 20 to the 23-yard line. This is one problem that the Buccaneers have faced in the return game after Frank Murphy went out. But let's go back to that touchdown. And right now, solid patience right here by Aaron Brooks, waiting for this to develop.
Boo Williams running the corner route, and he's going to isolate on Dwight Smith. Dwight Smith has no help to the outside. A little inside move. Dwight jumps on it. Again, Aaron Brooks throws a strike, but an excellent route by the tight end, Boo Williams.
Good protection there for Brooks as well. The Saints lead in this game now by a score of 7-3. 7:13 to go, second quarter. Brian Griese in for the injured Chris Sims. Griese throws for Charles Lee, got him across the 40 to the 41-yard line. That'll be enough for a first down for the Bucs. 17 yards on the play.
You know, Dan, the easiest down to throw on is 1st and 10. I like the call by John Gruden, play action. You get the isolated comeback outside.
Well, coming up, game 2 of our doubleheader. Some of you will see the Rams and the Seahawks. How about the start the Seahawks are off to?
Pretty darn good.
Well, getting it done with 2 wins on the road to start the season. I think that was huge for that team. 2 talented quarterbacks that can put some points on the board, too. That's going to be a fun one to watch. So stay tuned for game 2 of our doubleheader. Griese back to pass again on first down, looking for Clayton. Got him inside Saint territory down to the 41-yard line. Fred Thomas on the coverage, but not before the rookie can make the reception at an 18-yard gain.
Brian Griese has been in these situations before, and I like what he's doing. The 2 playmaking guys on this offense are Charles Lee and Michael Clayton. Charles Lee runs the comeback on first down. He comes back, a little seam route to Clayton, delivers a strike. A nice route by Michael Clayton, getting back inside on Fred Thomas. Brian Griese is right there with the throw.
Bucs come with 4 receivers, but instead they give it right up the middle to Michael Pittman. So trying to spread them out a little bit there and give Pittman some room to operate.
And we've seen John Gruden do that throughout this ball game. Use your personnel, bring some receivers in, spread the defense, and then hammer them with the run.
Gain of 4 to bring up 2nd down and 6. And one thing about John Gruden and this team during this 4-game losing streak, which is 6 dating back to last year, they haven't been getting blown out. They've been tight games. They just haven't come up with the big plays when they needed them. Try to make some plays right here. Mike Allstott alone back behind Brian Griese. Griese looking left and throwing out there incomplete. Wanted his tight end Will Heller. Had it for a second, but lost it. Orlando Ruff in coverage for New Orleans.
Again, we talked about how active the Bucs are on defense. The Saints linebackers can run. Orlando Ruff starting this week. Courtney Watson out from last week. And Orlando Ruff's a guy who's played, particularly a special teams guy here with New Orleans, but they're happy with him. He brings some toughness, some veteran leadership to this defense. A good play right there.
3rd down and 6. Brian Griese so far today, 3 out of 4 for 35 yards since coming in for Chris Sims. Pittman and Allstott behind him. Flags fly, no play. We'll have to see if the Bucs jumped or the Saints were a little too anxious.
Ball start. Offense, number 89. 5-yard penalty is still 3rd down.
False start called on tight end Will Heller right there. And again, that'll cost him 5 yards. Mistakes hurting this football team today.
Yeah, it just changes your 3rd down call. You go from 3rd and short to now it's 3rd and over 10 yards. These are hard 3rd downs to make. And, Will Heller's the guy that's really got to hang in there and really play mistake-free. Not easy in this environment, getting off on the proper snap count, but you got to have that kind of discipline before the snap.
3 receivers in the game, Clayton, Lee, and Brown for Tampa Bay. Pittman, the lone back behind Griese, who's going to pass. Pressure comes, got to step up in the pocket, throws it out complete to Tim Brown at the 35-yard line, but he's going to be short of the first down. It's going to bring up 4th down. Gain of 6.
Charles Grant providing some pressure on the outside, but Brian Griese, he's been in these situations before. He climbs the pocket. He finds Tim Brown. Watch Charles Grant coming on the outside here. Brian gets his drop, steps up inside, keeps his eyes down the field, and those 5 yards are valuable. Martin Gramatica really appreciates them. Becomes a little bit of a different kick for him.
Well, it's going to be a 54-yard attempt for Martin Gramatica. His long this year has been 47. His career long is 55, so he's approaching that right here. Now they move it up a yard. It's going to be a 53-yard attempt. Gramatica puts his foot into it, sends it on its way. It's up, and it is good. So Martin Gramatica cashes in for the Buccaneers, and they pull back within 1 in this game. Saints leading 7-6 after the 53-yard field goal.
You know, Dan, there are a lot of little plays that happen in a ball game, and that third down completion to Tim Brown by Brian Greasy is one of those big ones. You climb the pocket a little bit, you make that little 5-yard completion. Doesn't really seem to mean much. It puts the Bucs in field goal range. Martin Gramatica comes in and makes a big kick. And that's a big drive for them. Brian Greasy getting off the snide.
Well, tonight, Fox Sports month-long journey providing us with some of sports' greatest moments continues Game 4 of the NLDS between the Cardinals and the Dodgers. Los Angeles trying to win a second straight game at home and force a decisive 5th game back in St. Louis. Cardinals, meanwhile, trying to advance to the NLCS. It all continues tonight, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, right here on Fox. So they say those Dodger fans can be a little laid back at Chavez Ravine. They were all Jose Lima last night. They were jumping around like crazy. Nobody was laid back. That was fun to watch.
It sure was. A lot of emotion out there in Southern California. I'll tell you what. It's hard to do that, Daniel. There's a lot of other things going on.
Well, they saw the Angels go down. They're hoping the Dodgers can hang out a little while longer. They got to win tonight to stay alive. Gramatica with Michael Lewis back deep for the Saints. Lewis is going to take it at the 2. Back to the 10. Cuts left at the 15. Looking for some room. Spins out of 1 tackle, goes backwards. Where's he going to go? Michael Lewis was looking for a hole, couldn't find one. He actually lost some yardage there. Finally taken out at the 8-yard line, and a flag comes in late. Lewis had actually got up around the 15-yard line, then tried to double back, ended up getting taken out of bounds at the 8. And well after the play was over, a flag came in.
He was trying to be the human joystick. I think Jim Haslett just shaking his head on the sidelines.
Now we'll take another look. All that running Michael Lewis did to basically go about 5 yards on the return.
After the play was over, taunting on the defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, started at the 3, got to the 15, back to the 5, got to the 7, back to the 6, and out at the 7.
You got to appreciate his persistence. But, you know, again, we talked about how does an 0-4 team play? They play like this. They run down there and make a great play on kickoff coverage, but then get a little active after the play. Looks like it was Corey Ivy, and he's one of the best special teams players on this team. And, you know, you saw a lot of white jerseys around Michael Lewis making a play, but then you give it right back with the post-play penalty. That's what 0-4 teams do.
Well, instead of pitting them back at the 8-yard line and really putting the Saints in a hole, the 15-yard penalty moves it out to the 23, and now Aaron Brooks has some room to operate, leading in this game 7-6. On the pitch out, it's Deuce McAllister, this time running right. McAllister loses the football. The Bucs pick it up. Going the other way is Rondé Barber. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. How about that for a turnaround?
Wow.
Greg Spires pried it loose. Rondé Barber picked it up. And just like that, the Saints go from being ahead in this game and looking great to falling behind.
You know, Dan, our Fox colleague Jimmy Johnson used to always say, sometimes what bothered him is not what he saw, but what he didn't see. And those are the plays we have not seen from the Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense this year. You're not going to play much better defense than Tampa has through the first 4 ball games, but we haven't seen Rondé Barber and Derek Brooks picking fumbles up and intercepting passes, running them into the end zone. These are the plays that win games for you. A great play by Greg Spires, Rondé Barber around the football. All these guys are hustling. Greg gets his hand in. Rondé finishes the play. A big play for the Bucs on defense.
Gramatica back on to try the extra point. Stunning here in New Orleans. Gramatica sends it on its way. It's up. It's good. 13-7. Bucs now leading in this game. And if you want to talk about problems, you can talk about what has hurt New Orleans this year. Take you back to last week. They got blown out by Arizona, but much of it was due to the mistakes they made.
They moved the ball on offense. They did a lot of good things throwing the football. Aaron Brooks fumbles on 4th and 1. They try a reverse. Another fumble by Dante Stallworth. Arizona runs it back in. Again, these are the plays that are going to kill you. They're backbreakers. You can make bad plays in the game. You can make sacks. you cannot run the ball well, but the plays that kill you are the sack, fumbles, return, all those kinds of plays. They changed the whole complexion of the ball game, and the Saints have had a couple of them the last couple of weeks, and they're killing them.
Well, the two different faces in this game. You saw Deuce McAllister buried his face in the towel. John Gruden just getting in a fighting mood right now for the Buccaneers as they try to battle back from this 0-4 start.
And it's a great point that Coach Johnson used to make. You know, it's not what I saw, it's what I didn't see. And you watch this Bucs defense, they play so well. I mean, they run to the football, but they weren't making any of these kind of plays. Rondé Barber and Greg Spires made one right there. These are the kind of plays that turn the game.
Well, once again, Michael Lewis back deep with the Saints as Gramatica sends it on its way. Lewis is going to come up the field this one at the 16. Running right this time and trying to run north and south instead of east and west, but not much there.
And guess who makes the tackle?
At the 27, Corey Ivy. Rondé Barber making the stop right there. He goes from touchdown maker to playmaker to make it a tackle. So one thing this Buccaneer team did on their way to the Super Bowl, as you alluded to, that defense scored points.
They sure did. Just the image of Derek Brooks running down the sidelines and you know, Rondé Barber picking up a fumble and Dwight Smith making plays. And you know, you can play good defense, but you also have to create turnovers and make big plays. And that's what this team has been known for the last decade. They did it again today.
Well, Aaron Stecker giving Deuce McAllister a blow right here. McAllister with a fumble just a moment ago. Now he splits out of the backfield. Empty backfield for Aaron Brooks. Throws. Got it to Pathon. Pathon out to the 32-yard line. Check that. Joe Horn out to the 32-yard line. Gain of 4. It'll bring up 2nd down and 6.
Critical for Aaron Brooks to be a leader in this situation. You can't let sort of the black cloud infect your football team right now. Step back in the huddle, run the offense, try to get a little drive going against this good Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense and get some points before halftime. You got to stem the tide a little bit, and that's number 2's job as a quarterback, to be a leader, not only this offensive team, but for this whole team.
2nd down and 6 now for the Saints. Stecker is the back behind Brooks. Brooks to throw it again. Has to leave the pocket rolling, throws it, completes it to Stecker. Across the 40 to the 41-yard line. That'll be enough for a 1st down. Rondé Barber making the stop for Tampa Bay, but not before the Saints can pick up 8 yards. Let me go back to what you were saying a moment ago. There has been a black cloud over this franchise for a while, but it seems to blow in and blow out every year. And in talking with Aaron Brooks about that, he said one thing. He said there are too many guys on this team that are unprofessional and are not accountable and don't approach the game the right way. That maybe they're not giving their all in practice. They're just trying to get to the games on Sunday.
We got to remember, Dan, this is a young football team. 3 guys in the last 2 years, first-round picks have been juniors, and there's some immaturity that they've been going through.
Deuce McAllister back in, gets the call left side across the 45 to the 46-yard line. Gain of 5 on 1st down. It'll bring up 2nd down and 5. Jeff Gooch making the stop for Tampa Bay.
And back to what we were talking about, you have to be a consistent football team, and you have to be consistently getting better as the season progresses in order to be a championship team. This team tends to play well one week, not so well the next week. And, you know, in order for them to take it to the next level, to not be an 8-8, 9-7 team, they have to develop that consistency. And those young guys have to understand what it's like to be a professional and show up every day, not for the games, but also for practice.
Well, those young guys like Grant, like Sullivan, like Stallworth are going to have to learn what it takes to be productive week in and week out in the NFL. Aaron Brooks takes the snap, rolling right, trying to buy some time, being chased from behind. He's going to keep it across midfield. And finally hit right there. He's going to be short of the 1st down, it looks like. Ian Gold coming up to make the tackle for Tampa Bay. It looks like it's going to bring up 3rd down. It will depend upon the spot.
Aaron Brooks is going to fake it to the left-hand side of his offense and come out here on the bootleg. This is what this guy does awfully well. He's a wonderful athlete, looking for a throw down the field. Not much contained by the Tampa Bay defense, but Ian Gold, all these guys can run. They're going to pursue that quarterback, stops him just short of the 1st down.
It will, in fact, be 3rd and very short for Aaron Brooks and the Saints. Trailing now 13-7 after the big play a moment ago. Rondé Barber returning a fumble for a touchdown. Tampa Bay with its first lead of the day. 3rd down so far. Saints 1 out of 4. give is to McAllister, got the first down as he dives into Buccaneer territory down to the 48-yard line. Gain of 2. They'll move the chains, and we will stop for the 2-minute warning. It's the Saints trailing by a score of 13-7, but they've got the football. More when we come back.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Coors Light, the coldest tasting beer in the world.
What's cold? The frozen tundra, painted faces and flags. What's cold? Full blitzes, quarterbacks getting sacked. You see the air when they breathing? This is NFL season. What's the coldest tasting beer? Coors Light is freezing. No matter where you watch the game, we know you love cold beer. The frost is here, that hard-hitting time of the year. And we'll climb and we'll fight and claw our way to the finish. It's cold like that, and you could either watch it or live it.
Coors Light, the coldest tasting beer in the world. My big, fat, obnoxious fiancé pulled off the biggest con in TV history. I'm a professional actor.
What?
Now, they're bringing an even bigger con to the boardroom.
You're stupid. Really? I think I can kill you.
And you won't believe how much these Ivy League hotshots will humiliate themselves.
Run for your lives.
To win a job that doesn't exist.
It's a paper jam. It's a paper jam.
My big, fat, obnoxious boss.
Get the hell out of my office. Get the hell out of my office. Knock, knock. Who's there? Get the hell out of my office.
Sunday, November 7th on Fox.
All right, coming up on the Visa Halftime Show, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league, and our Fox Sports ticker will have up to the second stats. That is all coming up on the Visa Halftime Show. Nice to see Terrell Owens in there with the boys, the pregame show.
Yeah.
It's nice to see Billy Bob Thornton as well, and I did not know that he and Terry were that close.
Yeah, it seems like they are quite close. Friday Night Lights, can't wait to see it.
Friday Night Lights, candles in the shower. It was all talked about there. If you missed it, you missed a lot of fun.
It's all good out there in La La Land, isn't it, Dan?
First down and 10 for the Saints. Inside the 2-minute warning now. 1:58 to go first half. Try to get something done and get back on the scoreboard again. Brooks, left side, throws to McAllister. He's got it at midfield. Lunges forward to the 46, but a flag in the backfield. That's the general area you expect holding, and that's what we got.
Offense number 72. It's a 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Holding called on Wayne Gandy, who was flagged twice last week for false starts. Gets called for holding right there.
Well, he's got a tough task. You know, Simeon Rice coming into this ball game, only 1 sack, but, you know, there are a lot of hidden plays in the game. Watch Simeon Rice there, the top of your screen. Wayne Gandy's got his hands full with this guy. Wonderful athlete, the great inside move. He comes to the outside. You know, those are hidden plays in a game. You know, it's not a sack, but it's a 10-yard penalty. All of a sudden, the Saints are back on their own 42-yard line. Simeon making an impact.
Saints looking at a first down and 20 now. They bring 3 receivers into the game. Brooks with an empty backfield goes from the shotgun. Brooks has to step up in the pocket. Plenty of room in the middle of the field. He'll take it, dive across the 50, down to the 48. So he got most of the penalty yardage back, but that is going to bring up second down and 10.
You know, Monty Kiffin told us they are not going to blitz Aaron Brooks today. They're getting good pressure with the front 4. Aaron Brooks, no place to throw the ball down the field, steps up in the pocket, and then just tries to get some yardage. You take a look right here, the rush and the 4 down guys, a big cavity in here for Aaron Brooks to run the football. This is an athletic guy. He made 10 yards without even thinking about it, getting himself back in a manageable second down situation.
Well, after that game, the Saints did call a timeout. They stopped the clock with 1:43 to go.
I love this kid, Aaron Brooks. You know, a lot of controversy down here and here in New Orleans, and he's handled the leadership thing I think quite well. There is some immaturity on this team, but you know, I think where you need to be a leader most at the quarterback position is on the field for 3 hours on Sunday afternoon. Big comeback a couple weeks ago against the St. Louis Rams, and this guy, if he just continues to play well, in these kinds of situations, handle some adversity after a big loss, be the steadying influence on this team, he's going to take himself to the next level as a quarterback in this league.
Well, Saints 2-2 this year. In both their games, they trailed in the fourth quarter, but Brooks was able to bring them back to victory. He's done that 13 times during his career in 60 games. Not a bad percentage. He's been in some tough spots and done some good things for this team. A lot of talent here. They want to go further than they have before.
Empty backfield here, Dan. 4
receivers as well for the Saints. Whistles, flags, everything, no play. And it looks like the Saints may have jumped.
False start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
You know, these last 3 plays are a little bit emblematic of their season. You know, they make a good play, then they have the holding penalty. Aaron Brooks makes a good scramble. Here we go, Wayne Gandy again with a false start penalty. And it's all because of this guy right here, Simeon Rice. You're scared to death of him. He's one of the great athletes in the league, and you want to get a jump start, but he's really hurting his offense right now.
Well, both John Gruden and Monty Kiffin told us one key to their defense is that Simeon Rice has got to start making some plays. His numbers are down this year. He's still a capable football player. They need big things out of him. They're getting it right here just by intimidation. Brooks back, has some time in the pocket, but nowhere to go. Throws it out there. Great defensive play, broken up by Brian Kelly. They say Kelly is their best man-up defender. Did a terrific job right there.
Again, just a 4-man rush, and they're applying pressure on Aaron Brooks. There's 7 guys dropping into the secondary. Not a lot of places to throw the football. Simeon Rice providing some pressure on Aaron Brooks one more time. Coming into this ball game, you know, only 6 tackles and 1 sack, but as you can tell, he still has a big influence on opposing offenses. He makes a lot of hidden plays that give that guy a lot of attention throughout a ball game.
Hey, there's no question, according to John Gruden, this team has lost some talent when you lose guys like Warren Sapp and John Lynch. But as he said, they're not coming back. Brooks back. Pocket collapses. Got some room. Now he gets out of there, throws it. It's going to be incomplete as the ball hit the ground before Williams was able to come up with it. And that'll bring up 4th down now for the Saints.
How about that, though? Athletic play by Aaron Brooks, slipping out of a tackle. Again, one more time, good coverage down the field. See Brian Kelly working on Joe Horn. Not a lot of places to throw the football. Not a lot of places to throw the football. A lot of white shirts around those black jerseys. Aaron Brooks forced him to scramble.
Mitch Berger into punt, gets it away. Pressure was really coming in there. Going to bounce at the 3 and back to the 5, and that's going to be down inside the 5-yard line by the Saints. So the Bucs are going to be backed up here late in the first half with 1:16 to go.
Another flag here, Dan.
We'll wait and see what the exact call is there. There was some contact with Berger. It looked like on the punt, but no call back behind the line of scrimmage.
Illegal catching on the kicking team, number 35. Went out of bounds, was the first to touch the kick. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay, 4th down.
So here we go again. Penalty against the Saints, and they will have to punt it one more time. Penalty called there on Fakir Brown on special teams. Discussing it with head coach Jim Haslett.
I think both of these teams are victims of players trying to do too much and trying to make too many plays. I mean, a lot of times you have to let the game come to you, and you know, guys want to have a positive impact. Guys want to do something to make a difference in the game, but oftentimes that causes you to press a little bit, and you make those false start penalties. You make those unnecessary penalties during the play.
So they'll back it up from the 46 to the 41, and Mitch Berger will punt it again. Tim Brown back deep for Tampa Bay. 1:16 to go in the first half. Berger, good punt, turns over. Brown backs up inside his 10 and let it bounce right there.
How about that?
What a great bounce for the Saints and Mitch Berger. It's going to die at the 7-yard line. And there's another flag out on the field, so hang on just a second. You may get to do this a 3rd time. I'll tell you what, those are 2 great punts by Mitch Berger. 52 yards right there. But both of them, in essence, died inside the 10-yard line.
It's like you with your sand wedge, Dan.
Thank you very much.
Sucking it back.
Half that statement was right. Well, once again, we'll let the officials sort this out. Mike Carey will tell us exactly what's going on with the flag.
illegal block on the back by the receiving team, number 27. Half the distance to the goal, they retain possession. First down.
It'll be interesting to see what John Gruden does in this situation. He's got his third quarterback in the ball game right now. A little over a minute to go in the half. As we take a look at Brad Johnson, Brian Griese is playing. Brad Johnson over the last 13 games have not been real good. Previous 13 games, including the Super Bowl one in January of 2003, 29 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. 3 new offensive starters on the offensive line, a completely revamped wide receiver core for the first 4 games of the season. Not the perfect environment to play quarterback in for Brad Johnson over the first month of the season.
Well, Buccaneers are just going to take a knee right here with 1:01 to go, not wanting to risk anything, leading in this game by a score of 13-7.
And I like the decision by John Gruden. Hard to make 97 yards in a minute with 1 timeout. I think they've played well in this first half. You go in, you take that 6-point lead. You try to figure out what you want to do in the second half. You stop the bleeding a little bit. 0-4 coming into this game. You got to feel pretty good leading 13-7 at halftime in their place.
The Bucs did what they told us they wanted to do. They've been playing good defense. They said they needed a big play that could help turn a game around. They certainly got it on the fumble return for a touchdown by Rondé Barber. With that, both teams will head for the locker room with the Bucs leading by a score of 13-7. Jim Haslett's team down by 6. They will have to come back in the second half and try to figure out some way to get their offense going a little bit, to get that passing game going, to get Deuce McAllister going. They haven't had Deuce McAllister in a couple weeks, but they also haven't been able to get both sides of that offense going at the same time yet this year.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is to eliminate some of the mistakes, the false start penalties, the holding penalties. They're getting out of rhythm on offense. They're having some hard down and distance situations. Start running the ball with Deuce and let Aaron do his thing.
All right, that's the end of the first half with the score. The Bucs 13 and the Saints 7. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages.
Rondé Barber making the big play. Greg Spires with the knockout. Rondé running it in. That's what this defense is known for. That's how this team wins ball games. That was the biggest play of the half.
Neither team making big numbers in terms of stats. Total yards, Buccaneers 147, Saints 102. The big play, that fumble by Deuce McAllister that Rondé Barber picked up and ran into the end zone for a touchdown. In terms of individuals, if you were talking fantasy, Brian Griese, who came on for the injured Chris Sims, 4 out of 5 for 41 yards. Michael Pittman, 8 carries, 25 yards. Deuce McAllister back, coughed it up a couple of times. 12 carries, 46 yards. Michael Clayton, terrific rookie at LSU, 2 for 39.
And I think the other story is I think Chris Sims played well. I think Brian Griese has stepped in and played well. Both those backup quarterbacks in Tampa stepping in and doing their job.
All right, for the latest in fantasy stats, log on to foxsports.com. As we mentioned, Chris Sims left the game early with a shoulder injury. Brian Griese has been in there ever since at quarterback for the Buccaneers. Tampa Bay will get it first here in the second half. Torrey Cox back to take the kick, takes it at his own 3, back to 15-20. Cox across the 25 and across the 30, and that's where the Bucs will take over with the first possession here in the second half, leading by a score of 13-7.
Dan, I think the formula for Tampa Bay on offense has to be the same. Get Michael Pittman involved in the running game, play action, some boots for Brian Griese off of that strong run game, and get a little rhythm for number 8.
Griese didn't have much in the way of field position there in the first half. First position he came in, he was backed up inside the 10-yard line. Right now he's got Michael Pittman as the lone back behind him on first down and 10 as we get underway here in the third quarter. Bucs up by 6, looking for their first victory of the year.
Brian Griese audibling right there.
Nowhere to go for Griese as he's taken down at the 23-yard line. That'll be a loss on the play. Let's go down to the sidelines and Eric Clemens.
All right, guys, I talked to Jim Haslett coming back onto the field. He said the game plan for the second half is pretty simple. We got to stick with the game plan, run it at them, hold on to the football. Neither team is surprising the other, so we all know the game plan. We just got to hold on to the football and eliminate mistakes. Still no update on Chris Sims. All we know, left shoulder injury. He's been taken into the locker room for x-rays. Guys?
All right, Eric, thank you very much. Second down 15 now after the 5-yard loss on first down for the Bucs. Griese with the give to Pittman, cuts it back, looking for room, got a little bit, Dives out to the 28, still short of the original line of scrimmage. Jonathan Sullivan, first-round pick back in 2002, making the stop for the Saints.
And these are the situations that Brian Griese and the Tampa Bay Buccaneer offense, they want to stay out of. You don't want to be in 3rd and 11. The strength of this Saints defense are their 4 down linemen. Charles Grant in particular, they do a great job rushing the passer. It's easy to rush the passer in 3rd and 12.
Looking at a 3rd and 12 right now. Griese with 2 backs behind him, Pittman and Allstott. Back in the pocket, looking left side, throws to Clayton, got him first down at the 43-yard line. Nice connection there between Griese and the rookie out of LSU, Fred Thomas, in coverage, and stand down on the field after the play. Gain of 16.
Michael Clayton has become the go-to guy, but it all starts up front. 3rd and 12. You wouldn't think you'd see play action pass. Brian Griese standing in there, a lot of room to throw, and there's Michael Clayton. We've been talking about him all day. He's a great finisher. Boy, he's really played well through the first 5 ball games of this season. He's going to be a star in this league.
I tell you what, he shows the poise of somebody who's been around for a while. It does not look like a rookie out there.
You know, you talk about guys who are football players. You hear that expression a lot. Oh, he's a football player. In a lot of ways, it's a euphemism for a guy who's not that talented. Michael Clayton's awfully talented.
Got a lot of family and friends here, too. 75 tickets he had to find for this game. We've got a break. We'll come right back.
That was all they needed, as Jose Lima made sure Lima time was here with a complete game shutout, and the Dodgers get the win to cut the series deficit down to 2-1. And of course, you can catch Game 4 of the NLDS tonight as the Cardinals will try to wrap up the Dodgers. The Dodgers trying to force a game
back or 2.
Remember when
had none of it. They expected it. Was almost, they've seen that play before, and Jeff Garcia did the right thing. Just run out of bounds. Don't take the hugely bad play. Don't try and put the ball into a crowd. Run off, take a positive, and come.
Second sack of the day for the Steelers.
Ultima. You might call it an extreme makeover. We call it the 05 Ultima. Now with 1,000 cash back or 2% financing, Ultima's never been more attractive.
Beautiful.
1,000 cash or 2% at your Nissan dealer now.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39.
Back in New Orleans, Michael Lewis and the Saints leading. Check that, trailing Tampa Bay 13-7 right now. Fred Thomas up and walking off the field under his own power. Cornerback stayed down after that completion a moment ago. Griese on first down, throws left side. He's got Mike Allstott across the 45 to the 47. Derek Rogers takes him down there. Gain of 3 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 7.
And that's what John Gruden's going to do. He's going to use different personnel groups and line up guys in different places. That time, an empty backfield. Mike Allstott lined up as a receiver. Brian Griese delivers a shot to him. Good first down plays, make it a lot easier on your offensive line and particularly on your quarterback.
Chris Sims back on the sidelines, made his first NFL start today for John Gruden. Being treated throughout the game for an injured left shoulder. That's all we know at this point, but he has not returned. You don't expect him to return. Clayton on the end around finds some room inside Saint territory and down to the 45-yard line.
This play is made by Darren Howard, the defensive end for the New Orleans Saints, is aggressive against the running game. Watch Howard right here. He's going to suck in on the fake. Michael Clayton's coming around. No contain there. Get the ball in that guy's hands. He's going to make plays. 2 carries so far. Productive things for the Tampa Bay Buccaneer offense.
Fred Thomas is checked back in for the Buccaneers. Bucks moving, already leading 13-7. They're into Saints territory. Griese back and looking, throws over the middle, got a man wide open. Dave Moore that. It's Ken Dilger. Dilger into the end zone for a touchdown.
How about that?
45-yard connection. Brian Griese to a wide-open Ken Dilger.
Well, they put Michael Clayton in the slot on the strong side. And Brian Griese looked that way. Everybody went with number 80, Michael Clayton. And here comes Ken Dilger, scot-free down the middle of the field. Great vision by Griese, and he hammered a strike to him. You're going to see Dilger here. Clayton's going to be up the seam. The whole defense goes with Clayton. There's nobody left in the middle of the field. Brian sees it, throws a strike. Kenny Dilger does the rest.
Brian Griese today has come off the bench, 7 out of 8, 105 yards, and that touchdown pass. Martin Gramatica adds the extra point, and the Buccaneers have silenced this crowd at the Superdome. They lead the Saints 20-7.
Has not played either.
Is smart. They are disciplined. They stay at home until they see.
Weeks. Good, and I can't get out of it. Because when you're putting your team, any team, I don't care if it's a veteran quarterback, in a situation that is one-dimensional, you're limited. You're limited in everything you can do, and it's a great advantage to the defense.
That last penalty was on Steven Alexander, number 86. Harrington short drop, fires to Roy Williams. Williams back.
Be able to look inside and then get his head back up immediately to try and get back in position on the rusher.
In any event, Ron Dane has come in the game for the first time at running back. 3rd down and 12. And here is Warner, and he's not going to get it off. And it's a free ball, a fumble.
Ladder, they'll be asked
I have the biggest fear of heights.
to jump. He'll test their business sense and sense of adventure.
I'm looking for a billionaire in the rough.
And you won't believe how far they'll go for the biggest prize in reality TV history.
Bring some clean underwear.
The Rebel Billionaire, Branson's Quest for the Best. Series premiere Tuesday, November 9th on Fox.
Back in New Orleans, Brian Griese sitting right there. Ken Dilger 2 down. Dave Moore right in between him. It was Griese and Dilger hooking up just a moment ago. Touchdown puts the Bucs up 20-7. Griese with a smile on his face, and why not? Martin Gramatica sends Michael Lewis back to the goal line to field the kickoff. Lewis back to the 10, cutting left at the 15. Stopped right there in his tracks. Big hit by Torrey Cox, and the Bucs are fired up looking for their first victory of the season. We're going to take a break. It's Tampa Bay celebrating and leading 20-7 here, but we're only in the 3rd quarter.
So it'll be 2nd down and goal. So the Cowboys shooting themselves in the foot defensively with penalties. All of them hurt you, but some hurt you more than others, and it looks like the Cowboys are committing the ones that really burn you more than others.
Oh, none more than that running into the kicker. I mean, they shouldn't even be on the field defensively right now. Their offense should be out there. This is all a free opportunity for the New York Giants.
Cowboys have not allowed a rushing touchdown. For that matter, neither of the Giants. It'll be 2nd down and goal from the 2. And here is Barber. And Barber won't get there. Down at the 1-yard line. Dat Win and Tony Dixon making the play, preventing Barber's cut. So it'll be 3rd down and goal.
A lot of people have been frustrated with the run.
George Washington.
To go to something else.
And there's Shockey, and they say, who's going to cover him? Roy Williams said, I will. Roy Williams is covering Shockey, 3rd and goal. And there is the fade to Shockey. He's got it for the touchdown. So it took a while for the Cowboys to get coverage, and they go with him anyway. And Jeremy Shockey with
touchdowns in back-to-back games, giving the Giants.
Roy Williams is furious. He says he pushes off. You see right there, very subtle push.
November 16th.
You're risking a patient's life.
See why all doctors are not created equal.
No one believes me.
I do.
House premieres Tuesday, November 16th on Fox.
You think coaches don't sacrifice? Our sideline reporter Eric Clemens tells us John Gruden's barely got a voice. What do? A couple squirts of that stuff, you're ready to go in the second half.
A lot of intensity coming from John Gruden, Dan, I promise you that.
No question about it. Brooks first down, back throws for Joe Horn, incomplete. Let's take you back just a moment ago to that touchdown connection for Tampa Bay. Brian Griese finding Ken Dilger.
I guarantee you everybody on the Saints defense knows who this guy is. This is Michael Clayton running the seam route. Once the play starts, the whole Saints defense goes this way. Here's Kenny Dilger down the middle of the field. Good protection, excellent vision by Brian Griese, seeing the open guy. Big play for Tampa.
Big play, big touchdown, and right now for the Bucs, all things considered, a big lead, 20-7. Brooks on second down. Handoff is to Aaron Stecker. Not much there. Stacked up right at the line by Derek Brooks. Let's find out what else is happening around the league. Let's go back to L.A. James Brown. JP.
Hey, Dan, take a look at Dante Culpepper. 3 touchdown passes today to 3 different receivers. That one to Marcus Robinson. It's 21-7. Vikes on top. And then take a look at Jeremy Shockey. Big, strong tight end. Little push-off. Wasn't called. Roy Williams upset, but it stands. Giants on top, 13-10. That in the third. Back to Dan and Jason.
All right, JB, thank you very much. So Dante Culpepper getting it done. Kurt Warner getting it done. A couple of good football games right there and a couple of good football teams. Brooks back, throws, knocked up in the air, incomplete. Nice play by Mario Edwards, who comes in as the nickelback for Tampa Bay. And once again, the Saints are going to have to punt it away.
It's just not the situation you want to be in. 3rd and 10 against this Bucs defense. Watch Mario Edwards. He rides the receiver, plays up underneath him. Boy, he's pretty darn good as a nickel corner. Imagine this as your 3rd corner on your team. They're very talented on defense. A nice play by Mario Edwards.
Mario Edwards in his 5th year out of Florida State. Tim Brown back deep to receive the punt for the Buccaneers, already leading by 13. Brown's going to return this one from the 34. Cuts it upfield, gets to the 39, close to the 40-yard line. James Allen makes the tackle on special teams. 45-yard punt, 5-yard return. Bucs have the ball at a 13-point advantage.
Returning for Dallas. Good return by Thornton. Up close to the
hands and feet in the harness. Enjoy the ride.
Well, that's not in the playbook, but it should be.
Go ahead, wind it up again.
Okay. So cool.
I know. We could probably wind it down a little bit now.
Want to find out what makes a Volkswagen a Volkswagen? Come drive it. You'll get it.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. By Net Zero, access for all, or go to netzero.com. By Stanley, make something great. And by Miller, there's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call.
Back inside the Superdome, Brian Griese and the Buccaneers with a first down and 10 from their own 39. They lead 20-7. Griese's numbers right there, 158.3. You can't have a higher quarterback rating. Fakes the give. Now on the rollout, gets it to Heller up near midfield to the 50, and that's enough for a first down. You know, Greasy is an interesting story. He was the man in Denver, then he became the odd man out. Went down to Miami. Things did not work out well for him there. He was number 3 on the depth chart here, and then all of a sudden now, because of the injury to Chris Sims, he is in there, and who knows, he could end up being a starter here sometime soon.
Well, if you watch Brian Greasy in practice, I mean, this guy can throw the ball, he can move, he throws from the pocket, he throws on the run. He's a smart guy. This guy just needs an opportunity to have a clean slate. He's gotten it here in Tampa. You're not going to play much better than he's played so far this afternoon.
Also got a first down and 10 from midfield. Pitches to Pittman. Flag on the play. Pittman inside the 45 down to the 43-yard line. Derek Rogers making the stop. Gain of 7, but hang on a second. As we said, flag early on that one. Wait for the word again from our referee today, Mike Carey.
Illegal formation on the offense. Number 85, a wide receiver, was on the line of scrimmage, covering up the tight end. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Penalty called on Ken Dilger right there, so they'll back that up to the 45-yard line. That'll make it first down and 15.
But Brian's played awfully well today. You know, he started 55 games in this league. This is only the 3rd time he's come in off the bench. It's a little bit of a different situation for him, but he's such an experienced guy. He's a smart guy. He's well coached by John Shoup, the quarterback coach, and by John Gruden, the head coach. Doesn't surprise me he's playing so well today.
9:45 to go, 3rd quarter. Greasy looking right side, throwing for Clayton. Got it inside the 30, down to the 27-yard line. Check that, it's Charles Lee down at the 27. Lee with a big gain of 28 yards.
And this is the kind of stuff that I love seeing Tampa Bay do. Single safety coverage. Watch the safety come down. Single safety. What does that mean outside? Man-to-man coverage. Charles Lee on Ashley Ambrose. Throw it behind him. It's hard to defend it. Brian Greasy stands in there with a little heat on him, throws a strike, and Charles Lee is an explosive player. He can make these kinds of plays. With him and Michael Clayton in the lineup, they got a little firepower.
First down and 10 now from the Saints 27. Pittman, the deep back behind Greasy, gets the call. Cuts it back, left, falls forward, gains a yard. Charles Grant makes the tackle. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
You talk to these Saints coaches, and they really like Charles Grant. 5 sacks coming into this game, 2nd in the NFL, but they say he plays the run, he rushes the passer, a lot of intensity out of this kid. He played with the tackle, Jonathan Sullivan. They played together at Georgia on an unbelievable defensive line. This guy's taking it to the next level. He's one of the best defensive ends in this league.
Not a bad running back in high school either.
He and Herschel Walker have the record for most touchdowns, 45 in Georgia State history.
Greasy on 2nd down with time. Now he's got to get out of the pocket, rolling left. Running out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down. James Allen forcing things from the inside for Tampa.
Pressure inside, and Brian has the presence of mind to step up and then get himself out of the pocket. He knows where he is on the field. You run out of bounds, you gain a couple yards, and you keep yourself in a manageable situation. No disaster, just make positive plays. Not much happening down the field. Brian gets out and then gets himself out of bounds.
It'll be a 3rd down and 6 now for Greasy. 2 tight ends come into the game for the Bucs. Dilger and Heller both in there. Charles Lee to the bottom of your screen. Tim Brown to the top. Throw is to Lee inside the 20. Incomplete. Nice coverage out there by Fakir Brown.
Brian Greasy seeing the man-to-man coverage outside. Charles Lee working Fakir Brown. He's going to run the slant route. Fakir Brown coming in with that right hand and making a big stop, forcing Martin Gramatica to kick this field goal. A big play for New Orleans on defense.
So this is going to be a 41-yard field goal attempt for Martin Gramatica. He's already connected twice today. Trying to extend that Buccaneer lead again. Gramatica sends it on its way, and that is no good. Hooked it left, no good, and the Buccaneers come up empty right there.
John might have to go back and get a little more of that throat spray after that one.
Looks like he's definitely got something to say to somebody. Doesn't have much of a voice left, but nonetheless, with the Bucs leading by 13, they could have used another field goal to stretch that lead to 16.
Well, sometimes those trademark John Gruden expressions tell it all. Looked like the hold was good. Martin just pulled the thing a little bit. Didn't come off his foot real well. He's actually been kicking the ball well through the first 4 ball games. Didn't make the long one in the first half. You need those points, though. If you're 0-4, you got to get points any way you can get them.
Well, it has been quiet here at the Superdome. These Saints have not given their fans much of a reason to cheer today. They'll try to get going right here. Deuce McAllister finding a hole. Now you hear from him across the 45 out to the 47. Dwight Smith the tackle, but not before McAllister can pick up 17 and a first down.
And that's what Jim Haslam and Mike McCarthy, the offensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints, that's what they want to do. They want to run the football north and south against this defense. They're fast, but they're not big. Get number 26, head north and south down the football field. A good start for New Orleans on this drive.
13 carries, 62 yards after missing 2 games with a high ankle sprain. Brooks to throw, looks left, got it out there. It's complete to Stallworth. Still on his feet inside the 30, down to the 25-yard line. Rondé Barber finally forces him out, but Stallworth and Brooks connect for 27.
Isn't it amazing what happens when you run the football? This time, Aaron Brooks, he's going to go play action pass, sit in the pocket, man-to-man coverage outside. Not much of a pass rush. He throws the comeback to Stallworth. Mario Edwards there, but not making the tackle. He's about as explosive a player as there is in this league. He just has to stay healthy. Dante Stallworth making another big play for New Orleans.
Saints in business at the 26, trailing by 13. Give is to McAllister, through the line, at the 20. McAllister inside the 15, down to the 14-yard line.
You know,
gain of 12 before Brian Kelly stopped him.
Excuse me, Dan. 2 years ago, Deuce McAllister and this New Orleans Saints team were playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this building. He was coming off a high ankle sprain. I talked to Monty Kiffin and Mike Tomlin, the defensive coaches for Tampa Bay. They said they gave it to McAllister 33 times. He only gained about 95 yards, but he dominated the football game. He's not himself today, but he's playing well, and this is what the Saints want to do on offense.
14 carries today for McAllister so far. Make it 15, cuts it back. McAllister inside the 10, down to the 9. Barber again with a stop, gain of 4.
This is a football player right here. You see the power, but now you see the vision. He puts the right foot in the ground and finds the crease in that Tampa Bay defense. I like how the Saints offensive line's coming off the ball. They're big road graders on that right-hand side. McCarthy likes to run behind him. So does Deuce McAllister.
Mike McCarthy, their offensive coordinator, clearly made a few adjustments at halftime. The Saints executing much better here. Their best drive of the day. 2nd down and 6 from the 10. Again, McAllister cuts it back to the left. Inside the 5, down to the 2. It's going to be 1st and goal to go for New Orleans after a gain of 8. Ian Gold and Jermaine Phillips make the stop for Tampa Bay. But right now, it's the Saints knocking on the door.
They love to run right, but when you have a back like Deuce McAllister, he's going to cut it back. Watch Simeon Rice cave inside. Deuce starts right, has the vision to bounce it left. And again, those shoulders are square. He's running north and south. It's a bad sign when your safeties are making a lot of tackles.
Mike carry the up back in front of McAllister. Saints trailing by 13. 1st down, goal to go from the 2. They give it to Carey, tries the left side. Didn't get in, but he did get inside the 1. Mike Carey is one big fullback. 5'11", 258. Looks like somebody took a guard and just kind of scrunched him down a little bit.
He's a big, strong guy. It's a fine line as a play caller. You know, do you keep handing it to Deuce, or do you get Carney involved? And I like the call. You show Deuce on the right-hand side. You slip the ball back to Carney. He gets his shoulder squared, forces it down. Now it's 2nd and 1. A pretty darn good situation to be in for New Orleans.
2nd and goal to go. This time they give it to McAllister. He's met right at the line of scrimmage. Nowhere to go, and down he goes.
It's like a rugby scrum, for crying out loud. The swarming defense, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This time they try to go off the left side. Penetration inside. And a lot of white shirts. It's Jeff Gooch, Spires, Dwight Smith, Simeon. Here comes Jermaine Phillips. That's what Monty Kiffin likes to see from his defense.
A lot of hats on the ball right there, no question about it. Monty Kiffin and his defense trying to hold one more time. It is 3rd down and goal. for Aaron Brooks and the Saints, and as the play clock winds down, they're going to have to use a timeout right here. So the Saints will talk about it. They're trying to score, trailing by 13.
How we doing, boys?
Touchdowns, as we remind you tonight on CBS, begin.
And
their third downs. They stopped them on the last series.
If you
Five-yard line, and now Culpepper is 25 for 33 on the afternoon. And I mean, here's a guy you go, this is almost unprecedented, isn't it?
Well, you know, part of it though, Kurt, is if you can have this kind of protection. Look at the Texans come with a blitz, but they give Culpepper great time, great throwing lanes, and they've done a really good job of picking up those Texan blitzes all afternoon.
75% completion rate for Culpepper. Moore. And for Waldy Moore.
Stuff on the outside, but if it's not there, you come right back to that. It's like stealing sometimes.
second down and 2. Tiki Barber. And you always have to watch it even after he's